Eris shifts beside me. With a soft rustle of fabric, she rolls on her side, propping herself up on one elbow. Her sapphire eyes catch the moonlight, twinkling with playful mischief. A lazy smile tugs at her lips. "All right," she says lightly, her voice laced with amusement. "What if you were me? You'd have done the same thing, wouldn't you?" The question throws me off. My mind stumbles, trying to catch up. I blink. But now that I think about it, and then I nod slowly. Not because I'm some heroic, self-sacrificing paragon of justice or anything. No, it's because I'm a catgirl simp. A complete, total, hopeless simp. My brain? It doesn't stand a chance against fluffy ears and swishy tails. The moment a catgirl shows up, all logic vacates the premises. Eris giggles, and the sound, light and airy, sends pleasant chills down my spine. Her laughter feels like wind chimes caught in the night breeze. "You really tried to protect that catgirl before," she says, her voice quieter now. "You even stood your ground to protect me. And you knew you weren't strong enough to win." Her tone dips into something soft, something real. To be honest, I was really moved. My breath catches. "Why, you noticed?" I managed to squeak. "Of course." Her gaze doesn't waver. "You were amazing." The words hit me like a gust of wind, knocking the air right out of my lungs. My heart leaps, thudding erratically beneath my ribs. A flush creeps across my cheeks. "Wait, what's happening?" Eris leans in, just a bit. Just enough that I can feel her breath against my skin, warm and close. "And that's why," she whispers, her voice barely audible beneath the hush of the night. "I like you." Wait, what? Did she just... I freeze. My thoughts flatline. Her words echo in my skull like a chorus that refuses to stop. "I like you." She said it so casually, so effortlessly, like it wasn't an emotional atomic bomb. My body reacts before my brain does. I shoot upright, yanking my coat over my face like a shield. What the hell just happened? Did she mean it? Was it a joke? Was it real? I'm not built for this. My heart is pounding so hard I think I might actually die. I try to gather myself, inhaling deeply, trying to regulate my breathing and not combust into 1,000 flustered sparks. After a long, shaky pause, I finally mumble, "Eris, you know I used to be a guy, right? Please don't tease me like that. It might make me misunderstand." My voice falters, unsure. Then I feel it. Warmth. Her hand slides gently over mine. I glance sideways, startled. She's sitting close, closer than before. Her expression has shifted, softened. Her fingers weave into mine, deliberate and sure. "Yes," she says. "I know." My heart skips again. She knows. And yet, she's still here. Still holding my hand. Still looking at me like that. I can't breathe. I can't think. My chest is filled with feathers and fire. "Felicia," she murmurs, her eyes meeting mine with raw intensity. There's something in them I can't quite name. Something honest and maybe a little scared. She hesitates. "Do you like girls? Or boys?" My brain shuts down. What do you mean?" I mean, her voice trembles. "After becoming a girl, do you still like girls? Or did that change?" B.A. dump. My heart lurches violently. That's a serious question. A scary question. One that could change everything. If I say I like girls, will she pull away? Will she think it's weird? If I lie and say boys, I'd be denying something that's always been true. I'm spiraling. I'm spiraling so hard I might crash through the floor. But I owe her honesty. I swallow hard. I like. Her hand squeezes mine tightly, reassuring, grounding. "Girls." The word leaves my mouth like a whispered truth, barely formed. And then Eris giggles. "Wait, what?" I look up confused. Her cheeks are flushed crimson, her smile bright and devastating. She stares at me like I've just handed her a precious secret. Then she says softly, leaning in close, eyes glimmering, "What about me?" The world halts. "Do you like me?" Oh no. It all hits me at once. The teasing, the glances, the way she touched my hand, the softness in her voice, the warmth in her eyes. She's been flirting with me this whole time, and I didn't notice? I want to answer, I need to answer, but just as the words rise up my throat. Gordon's back, she says suddenly, standing up like nothing happened. What? I yelp. Already? She hums, stretching with a smug grin. He just knocked. Let's go. Still stunned, I feel her tug me gently to my feet. And just like that, the moment is gone. But my heart, my stupid, fluttering, overdramatic heart, still going at full blast. Later, Eris and Gordon are outside, discussing plans and strategies and whatever else adventurers talk about. And me? I'm face down on a pillow, screaming into the void. My body is burning. My brain is melting. My tail is doing its own interpretive dance routine, twitching like it's possessed. She asked if I liked her. That was a confession, right? Right. I roll over and kick my legs wildly, flailing in emotional agony. But what if I misunderstood? What if she was just curious? What if it was just teasing and I ruined everything by taking it seriously? My ears flatten. My tail flops in defeat. And it's only been 2 days. 2 days. There's no way she meant it seriously, right? Right? Ugh, I'm so screwed, Naya. That was so embarrassing. I groan into the pillow again, burying my shame where no one can see it. And I just know, when she comes back, I'm never going to be able to look her in the eye again. Ever. The creak of the door slices through the silence like a blade, jerking me out of my spiral of catastrophic thoughts. I snap upright like a startled squirrel, tail straight as a rod. Eris. She's here. I go completely still. My body locks up, and for one terrible second, I forget how to breathe. Calm down, Felicia. Calm down, I chant in my head, gripping the edge of the bed like a lifeline. But my heart has no intention of calming down. It's in full rebellion, thundering in my chest like a war drum, threatening to break my ribs from the inside. How is everything going? I manage to squeak out, my voice cracking like a drop plate. Eris leans against the wall, exhaustion etched into her features. She exhales slowly, her eyes shadowed by something heavy. Just as I thought, she says grimly. They were members of the Crimson Order, but we couldn't get anything from them. Their souls were tampered with, memories wiped clean. Her words settle over me like a storm cloud. My ears droop, shoulders sagging. I see. I murmur. I had hoped for more. Something useful. Some lead that could help the guild take them down. Something to bring a shred of safety to Furrens like me, who have lived far too long in the shadows of fear. But hope is a luxury reality doesn't often grant. I'm sorry, I whisper. Eris's gaze sharpens. Sorry? For what? She pushes off the wall, stepping closer. Yeah, we couldn't extract information, she says, but we confirmed their affiliation. They had the tattoos. Some of them were already on the kingdom's wanted list. Her lips twitch into a faint, victorious smile. That alone is enough to shut down any accusations. It was clearly self-defense. Relief crashes into me like a wave. The knot in my chest finally loosens. Oh, that's good. That's really good. And there are still other ways to investigate, she adds, her voice softening. We could trace their weapons, their forged IDs, check the black market. I nod. That makes sense. Then, her expression shifts, subtle but unmistakable. Her shoulders tense, just slightly. Her eyes flick away, then back again. Her fingers reach up, twisting a loose strand of hair. About what you said earlier, she says barely above a whisper. My heart immediately slams into overdrive. I blink, feeling heat rush to my face. Badump, badump, badump. Not this again. Not now. What thing? I laugh nervously, waving a hand like that'll somehow clear the air. Please stop talking, Felicia. Please, for the love of fluff, stop. Eris steps closer. Then, she places her hands on my shoulders and pushes me gently back. I'm pinned, flat on my back, on the bed, and Eris is above me. Close. So close. The warmth of her body radiates against mine, and I swear I can feel her heartbeat from here. Felicia, she breathes, eyes locked onto mine, voice trembling with something that feels too big for words. And then, I like you. The words crash into me like thunder. I blink. As a friend, right? I ask weakly, pathetically. Why, Felicia? Why would you say that? Eris chuckles softly. No, silly. Her voice is warm, almost amused, but her gaze is nothing but sincere. More than a friend. Something closer. I open my mouth, but she gently presses a finger to my lips, silencing the chaos trying to tumble out. Listen, she whispers. Huh? Just listen. So I do. At first, all I hear is the faint breeze outside the window. But then, bottom, bottom, bottom. 2 heartbeats. Mine wild, erratic, and hers, equally frantic, just as loud. She takes my hand, gently, carefully, and guides it to her chest. I freeze. Soft, warm, real, and underneath my fingertips. Her heart is racing. This is how much I like you, she whispers, eyes searching mine. I forget how to speak. Ever since I met you, she continues, I haven't been able to stop watching you. You're beautiful, Felicia. Funny, brave, kind. You're driving me absolutely insane. Her words strike like arrows straight to my chest. I want to believe her. But, I used to be a man, I whisper. That doesn't bother you. Eris doesn't hesitate. You're a woman now, aren't you? And I like you. Not who you were. My throat tightens. Still, there's more. I'm not even the real Felicia. I say, my voice cracking. This body, it isn't mine. I'm just some soul who woke up in it. The girl you like, she's not even here. That's the ugliest part of this. Because it's true. I'm living someone else's life. Wearing her skin. Pretending her name belongs to me. Eris is silent for a moment. Then she says, and yet, it's your laughter that I hear. Your voice that makes my heart skip. Your kindness that saved me when I didn't even realize I needed saving. She squeezes my hand. I don't care who you were, or how you got here. I care about who you are now. I tremble. The tears come before I can stop them. Hot and fast, blurring everything. I bury my face into Eris's shoulder, and she holds me tighter. No judgment, no hesitation, just her. And for the first time since arriving in this strange, dangerous world, I don't feel like a fraud. I feel seen. I feel real. I feel loved.
Hey, welcome to Firescale Audiobooks. If you enjoy our audiobooks, please consider subscribing to the channel. Also, feel free to share your review in the comments section below.
Reality is what it is. I'm not Felicia. The real me wouldn't even deserve a flicker of her attention. Hey, Eris says sharply, breaking my spiraling thoughts. Don't say that. It's not true. How can you be so sure? I whisper. She smiles softly. Because the Felicia I like isn't just a pretty face. What? Eris chuckles. Yeah, the Felicia I like, she tried to eat salad. Wait, what? You like me because I tried eating salad? Yes, Eris teases, grinning mischievously. But not just that. She cuts vegetables insanely well, too. Though she doesn't know how to wash a girl's hair properly yet. Hey, I protest, feeling super pouty right now. But Eris just chuckles. She still tries her best, though. Eris continues, her fingers gently weaving through my hair. And it's not just that. She's cute, considerate, and kind-hearted. She didn't want to depend on me for everything. She never judged me or flinched when she saw my scar. She held my hand when we slept. Her presence alone is like sunlight, banishing the darkness inside me. And today, her gaze softens, her eyes shimmering with raw emotion. She was willing to risk everything to protect me, even when the odds were stacked against her. My throat tightens. Tears blur my vision. So, that's the Felicia I like, Eris concludes with a gentle smile. No, I'm sorry, let me correct it. That's the Felicia I love. Hearing her pour her heart out like that, I can't hold it in anymore. Tears spill from my eyes, unbidden, unstoppable. My heart jumps, suddenly aching like hell. But this pain, I like it. I love it. Eris leans in, her face just inches from mine. Her breath, warm and soft, brushes against my lips. So tell me, she whispers, are you that Felicia? Her words hang in the air, lingering, echoing in my mind. Now, I find myself asking too, am I that Felicia? Everything I've done until now, despite being in a different body, does it still count as me? Well, maybe around 70% of me, I think. But now that Eris has shown me a different perspective, I feel something shift within me. A newfound confidence, somehow. And so, in it, I nod, my body trembling with emotion, my heart racing in anticipation. My throat tightens, the words I want to say stuck, tangled in my chest. And then, it happens. I let her come closer, the heat of her breath teasing my lips before the soft pressure of her mouth meets mine. A kiss. At first, it's barely a touch, so soft, a little bit wet, doesn't taste like anything. But slowly, it gets more intense, more intoxicating. Her lips moving with a tenderness that makes my pulse quicken, her every shift sending waves of warmth through me. Her tongue brushes against mine slightly. My heart races, threatening to burst from my chest, each beat erratic and overwhelming. I can't think, only feel. Thoughts scatter, evaporating into a haze of bliss, slipping away like smoke. And time slows, stretching into eternity, the world around us becoming distant, irrelevant. And then, for a heartbeat, I forget everything, who I was, who I am. There's only her, only this, only the warmth of her touch, the soft, consuming sweetness of her lips against mine, burning with a hunger I didn't know I needed. And finally, when she finally pulls away, I'm left gasping for air, my chest heaving, my body craving more. The emptiness in my lungs is unbearable, and I ache to feel her again, to lose myself in the sensation of her kiss, her touch again. My lips throb, hungry, desperate. Meanwhile, Eris's face is red, a soft pink coloring her cheeks. Her eyes meet mine, dark and intense, holding me captive. She bites her lower lip, a silent gesture that speaks louder than words, a hunger, an invitation. Damn, this is dangerous. I force myself to hold back, fighting the storm of desire building inside me. Seeing her like this, I'm terrified I might lose control. I want her. I want her more than anything. But is it too soon? Too fast? We've only known each other for nearly 2 days, yet we've already shared this kiss. A kiss. A freaking kiss. That has to be enough, right? It's more than enough for me, right? I can't be too greedy. And besides, I don't want Eris to think of me as some horny, indecent girl. That would be terrible. My heart pounds as uncertainty creeps in. But then Eris leans in, her finger tracing the curve of my body in a slow, tantalizing movement that stops just above my chest. Her voice, a soft whisper, cuts through the tension. Can we do more than this? I'll fuck it. If she says so, why hold back anymore, right? Thus, with a surge of desire, I pull her closer. And just like that, as I give my consent, Eris kisses me again. This time longer, deeper, more searing, more passionate than before. I'm breathless, my mind spinning in a haze. She moves to my neck, her lips grazing it lightly, and then her tongue traces a path that sends a jolt of electricity shooting down my spine. My body tenses, every muscle frozen in place. Ah! A soft moan escapes me, caught between embarrassment and pure sensation. I have no idea what just happened. How the hell did I just make that weird sound? Then you need to relax a little bit. Eris smiles and whispers. It's only going to get more intense from here. Ah shit. If she says that, I really need to brace myself. I'm looking forward to it. Eris then places her hand gently over my chest, pressing just enough to make my heart race even faster. Be gentle. I plead with teary eyes, my voice shaky. I'll try. Eris leans in again, kissing my neck, then slowly down to my collarbone. Her lips, her breath, her tongue overwhelm my senses in the most intoxicating way. I melt into her, my heart pounding, my arms holding her tighter, like I'm afraid to let go. I can't believe this is happening. Eris and me, are we really doing this? Yes. Yes, we are. But how do girls even have sex? And more importantly, how do girls have sex with each other? I don't know. I've never been in a situation like this before. No experience, no idea of what to expect. But so far, I like it. Eris told me to relax and let her take the lead. She gently guides my body, easing me back onto a soft pillow before her lips find mine again. Her kisses are slow and intoxicating, pulling me deeper into this unfamiliar yet thrilling moment. Our tongue wrestle against each other while her hands trace light, teasing patterns along my arms, down my sides. She then pulls back, smiles, gives my nose a little peck. Then, her lips move lower, trailing kisses down my neck. Now, her warm, wet tongue is gliding across my skin, tracing a path up and down my neck with a sensual rhythm, as if savoring every inch, as if I'm a lollipop. She kisses, then nips lightly, her breath hot against my skin, tickling. My mind blanks, overwhelmed by the electric currents coursing through me. I lean back, surrendering my neck to her, like an offering to a ravenous vampire, while reveling in the delicious sensations she stirs within me. Meanwhile, her hand drifts lower, brushing over my chest. Her fingers dance across the thin fabric of my dress, teasing the hardened peak beneath. Even through the silky barrier, the touch is electrifying. Ah! My body reacts before I can think, arching slightly, a soft gasp slipping from my lips. My breath hitches, my fingers gripping the sheets beneath me as she lingers, kissing, biting, whispering things I can barely process in the haze of sensation. I can't help but wonder, if this is just the beginning, just the prelude to the night, then how far will we go? How much more intense will it become? I don't know. I can't imagine. And honestly, I'm a little terrified. But at the same time, I'm aching to find out. But before I can dwell on it further, Eris's fingers tug at the strap of my dress, sliding it down my shoulder. The air feels cooler against my exposed skin, and instinctively, I move to cover myself. Eris chuckles softly, her voice a low, sultry whisper that makes my skin tingle. "Come on," she murmurs. "I've already seen you naked before. There's no need to be shy." Her words are like velvet, coaxing me to let go, but my cheeks still burn with embarrassment. It's still embarrassing. I stammer, my voice trembling. "I have never been this close to you before." "All right." Eris smiles, her eyes glinting with mischief. "Then, how about I strip first?" she suggests. And just like that, Eris removes her shirt, keeping her pants on, her whole upper body now naked before me. Oh, my gosh, I've already seen it twice. But now, seeing it again, in this crazy situation, my heartbeat is going wild again, thumping inside my chest like a crazy drum again. Probably 200 beats per second, maybe more. Because Eris, she's like a supermodel, isn't she? Her sun-kissed skin glows in the dim light, her full, round breasts swaying slightly as she moves. Her nipples are taut, wrinkly, and impossibly alluring. Her abs are all visible and well-defined, not too masculine though, but feminine and hot. The way she looks at me, her gaze hungry like she's about to devour me, makes my head spin. Gulp. I swallow hard. My pulse thunders in my ears, my body trembling with anticipation. I can feel the heat pooling between my legs, a telltale wetness betraying my arousal. Eris then climbs back onto the bed, then onto me. She licks her lips like preparing herself for a hearty meal, her tongue gliding slowly, sensually, before her tiny fangs peek through her smile. Then, she takes my hand and places it on her chest. Damn, her skin is so soft, so warm. Her nipple is hard beneath my palm, springy and responsive, just like mine. MHH. Eris leans back slightly, her eyes fluttering closed as she savors my touch. I can't resist. My hand drifts lower, tracing the contours of her abs. They're firm and defined when she tenses, but as she exhales, they soften, melting into the gentle curve of her belly. The rise and fall of her breath is hypnotic, and I find myself captivated, my fingers exploring every inch of her. "Hey," Eris murmurs, her voice thick with desire. "If you like my body that much, you can touch it as much as you like." Gulp. I swallow thickly. Her words send a fresh wave of heat through me. I move my hand back to her chest, my fingers brushing against her nipple, and she lets out another soft, breathy moan. This is incredible. Unbelievable. Her body feels so good beneath my hands. Every touch sends ripples of pleasure through me, and her scent envelopes me, intoxicating and primal, making my skin burn hotter, my mind spiral wilder. Felicia, I want to touch you too, Eris murmurs, her voice low and husky, thick with desire. Will you let me now? I nod, breathless, unable to form words. Taking off the dress, and then we're kissing again. Her lips are soft yet demanding, her tongue teasing mine as her hands roam my body. I moan into her mouth, my own hands exploring her, tracing the curves of her breasts, her waist, her hips. Our breaths mingle, our bodies press closer, and the sensation of skin against skin is electric, intoxicating, overwhelming. As we embrace each other, our breasts touch, our nipples brush against each other, our bellies make contact. I've never been this close to her before, and I love it. MMH. Another moan. But well, I can't suppress them now. In fact, I don't even try to hide my moans anymore. I let them spill out, raw and unrestrained, as I surrender to the pleasure, to her. Suddenly, Eris moves lower. Her lips trail down my neck, my collarbone, leaving a trail of fire in their wake. She licks, she tastes, she savors every inch of my skin, and I shiver beneath her touch. When her kisses reach my chest, my breath hitches. The closer she gets to my nipple, the more intense the sensations become. My heart races, my breath quickens, and my hands grip her arms tightly, anchoring myself as pleasure threatens to sweep me away. And then, MNNHPPP, a long, drawn-out moan escapes me as her mouth closes around my nipple. The sensation is overwhelming, almost too much to bear. I nearly come on the spot. Her mouth is warm, wet, and soft, her teeth gently holding me in place. She doesn't suck or bite, not yet. She's patient, watching me closely, gauging my reactions as I struggle to adjust to the intensity. You're so sensitive, Eris murmurs against my skin, her voice, soft, teasing, vibrates through me in ways I never imagined while her lips still wrapped around my pinky peak. Why ya? I exhale shakily, my breath coming in short, uneven gasps. I wasn't expecting this. Not like this. Is this what it feels like for girls? Are we really 10 times more sensitive than guys? Or am I just different? I don't know. I can't think straight. All I know is that every touch, every movement feels amplified, electrifying, overwhelming. And yet, I don't want her to stop. It's just a lot to take in, a lot to get used to. Eris seems to understand. She then lets her tongue press gently against me, applying just enough pressure to let me acclimate to the waves of pleasure. And slowly, I adapt, my body relaxing in her touch. Then she begins to move, sucking, licking, kissing, alternating between my nipples with a rhythm that drives me wild. Every flick of her tongue, every gentle bite, sends jolts of pleasure through me. I arch my back, my breath coming in ragged gasps as pleasure crashes over me in relentless waves. And just like that, slowly and slowly, something is building inside me, a tension coiling tighter and tighter. My entire body tenses, my muscles clenching as the pleasure mounts. MHHP, the moan escaping my throat, is getting louder and louder, proportionally to the pleasure I'm getting. I'm almost there. Yes, I'm almost there. Is this what it feels like to come as a girl? Am I about to experience the phenomenon known as a female orgasm? Hell yes. Anticipation is high. The pleasure so intense that my eyes roll back. I gasp, one hand clawing at the bedsheet, the other gripping Eris's arm like a lifeline, as pleasure keep building up. But then, suddenly she stops, just to open her mouth, to show me something. No, 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 wait. I panic, wanting to abandon ship. But it's too late. With one final, devastating lick, her keratin-spiked tongue brushes against my nip, sending a nuclear shockwave of pleasure through me. And before I know it, I come hard. I come super hard. my mind going blank as pleasure obliterates everything. It's like the world has been nuked, leaving nothing but white-hot ecstasy in its wake. Eris, I whine, my voice trembling on a high note as I shudder under the lingering waves of pleasure. You almost killed me. Sweat glistens on my forehead, trailing down my flushed skin. My limbs feel limp, my strength completely drained by the heat of her touch. Beneath my left palm, the bedsheet lies torn, shredded by my own desperate grip. Eris holds me tightly, her laugh soft and playful. I'm sorry. I got a little carried away, she murmurs, flashing me a mischievous smile. Leaning in, she plants a tender kiss on my lips by way of apology, then whispers near my ear, "So, how was it, coming as a girl?" Well, it was incredible, but I'm definitely not telling her that. So I push her away, pouting hard. Oomph. All right, my turn now. Oh, still good to go? She teases. Of course. Don't underestimate me. I declare, even though I just had the biggest orgasm of my entire life. Somehow, I'm still ridiculously horny. Actually, even more than before. Plus, I need a little payback for what she put me through. Still, that being said, isn't this amazing? I could go on like this all day. I could have sex forever. Catgirl reincarnation. Bonsai. Of course, that's only if I have enough stamina, though. We then shift positions. Eris lies back while I climb atop her. I begin trailing soft kisses along her neck, savoring the subtle warmth and faint salt of her skin. She sighs, tilting her head back, her soft, breathy moans sending a delicious shiver through me. Smooch. Slurp. I linger over the taste of her sweat, salty, yet distinctly hers. It's intoxicating, and I can't get enough. Then I notice something else, something that drives me wild. You smell so good. I murmur, my voice unsteady. It's making me dizzy, really dizzy. MHHB, you smell amazing too. Eris replies, her eyes fluttering closed. Startled, I jerk away, sniffing at my own skin. I smell? Wait, am I stinky? I panic a little bit. But Eris pulls me down for another deep kiss before drawing back to meet my gaze. No, she purrs, brushing her lips against mine. You smell wonderful. It's your mating scent. It tells me how good you're feeling. Mating scent? I echo. Eris chuckles softly. It's your unique smell, and it's at its strongest right now. It pulls me in like a magnet. I see. I murmur. Then, you have your unique scent too. Yup, I guess so. But still, mating scent? What the heck is that? Suddenly, things click. Pheromone. In the animal world, pheromone is something that the animals release to attract their mating partners. It's a really strong aphrodisiac. I might get addicted to your smell, Felicia, Eris says, her voice low and warm. And me too, I admit with a flustered stammer. All right, enough talking. I still have to make Eris feel good. I lower myself further, lips and tongue exploring her body at a deliberately unhurried pace, tasting every inch of her upper body like a decadent treat. Meanwhile, my hand cups her breast, my fingers dancing over her nipple, now firm against my touch. With the slightest pressure, I let my tongue graze it gently, watching her body twitches in response. It's too cute. It's like I'm zapping her with low electricity. I then look up at her beautiful face, only to see her eyes fixed on mine. Her teeth bite into her lower lip as she watches me with palpable anticipation, wordlessly inviting me to continue. A sly smile curls my lips. Hell yeah, revenge time. I circle my tongue around her hardened nipple in slow, deliberate arcs, moistening this sensitive area with my hot saliva. Then I catch it gently between my lips. Eris's body tenses, a soft gasp escaping as her moan deepens. Encouraged, I pick up the pace, lavishing her nipple with my tongue while my fingers toy with the other. At the same time, I suckle softly, almost like a baby. Eris moans louder, her back arching off the sheets. She presses one hand against the back of my head, urging me to suck harder, while her hips begin a slow, insistent grind against my leg. Oh my, I can feel the wetness. And the heat too. Eris, I pause as my lips still grazing her skin. Do you want me to use my brushy tongue? She doesn't even hesitate. Yes, she breathes. Her quick reply sends a heady wave of desire rushing through me. All right, if she says so. Spiky tongue mode activated. My keratin-covered tongue shifts, transforming into a textured, brush-like surface. ADN with it. I brush it onto Eris' nipple, stimulating it even more. However, what? She can take it? Amazing. I'm stunned, especially considering how overwhelmed I felt when she used hers on me. As I brushes harder and faster, Eris moans and rides a bit, but that's it. She keeps pressing my head onto her boobs, urging me to continue. So, worried I'm not giving her enough, I pick up the pace even more, though a small voice in my head wonders whether I should go more intense. What if I hurt her? After all, the nipple is such a sensitive spot. I don't really want to hurt it at all. However, before I can hesitate, Eris suddenly wraps her arms around me, clinging tight, squeezing me flush against her chest, as though I were her personal pillow. A long, loud moan echoes through the room. Her entire body goes rigid for a heartbeat, then shudders violently. Wait, did she just? A satisfied grin tugs at my lips. And then after that, when Eris finally exhales, her breath ragged and filled with relief, she gazes up at me through heavy-lidded eyes, her face glistening with sweat. I came, she murmurs, voice husky. That was incredible. Those words ignite a spark of pure delight in my chest. For some reason, I'm happy, incredibly happy. My heart feels lighter, and I lean in for another kiss, tasting the salt of her lips. We remain that way for a little while, kissing and fondling each other's breasts, giving Eris a moment to come down from her high. Then, slowly, I feel her hands slide toward the space between my legs. She presses against my soaked underwear. I moan softly at the sensation of her fingers brushing across the damp cloth. You're already so wet. Eris purrs, then proceed to show me her hand. She spreads her 2 fingers, and between it, a string of slimy substance. You too, I tease, slipping my own hand lower to cup her mound, feeling the heat radiating from her drenched folds. And then, we both proceed, moving on to explore each other more fully. Moments later, Eris, Eris. I keep moaning, calling her name as wave after wave of pleasure crashes through my mind like an unrelenting tsunami. Every movement of Eris's fingers inside me feels divine, the shape of them molding perfectly as my body throbs around her touch. The wet, rhythmic sounds, though embarrassing, also send a new rush of heat coursing through me. So you like this, Eris murmurs, her tongue flicking over my sensitive clit. Yes, yes. I love it. I gasp, my voice trembling. It's all so amazing. I can't stop. I don't want to stop experiencing this. I've already lost track of time, lost in this haze of ecstasy. I've come so many times it feels unreal, and Eris, too, is swept up in the same storm of sensation. She slides in another finger, pumping faster and faster until I can barely form coherent thoughts. Triple Eris, I'm coming. I'm coming. My body arches as another climax erupts. Muscles lock, pleasure exploding once again. Nay! I cry into a pillow, biting down hard as my body convulses and my pussy juice squirts in Eris's face. Then, when I finally look at her, she smiles and wipes away the glistening evidence with her hand, licking it off as though tasting the finest delicacy. Thanks for the meal. She teases. Eris, don't lick that. It's so embarrassing. I protest, though part of me is strangely thrilled. Honestly, how the heck did I have so much water inside my body? Is that normal? I don't know. After cleaning me up with her tongue, Eris moves upward. By the look on her face, I know she wants to kiss me again. And for a heartbeat, I hesitate. Given the fact that she just kissed me there, do I really want to kiss her right now? Yet, eventually, my need for her overwhelms any lingering embarrassment. Screw it. I tug her closer, pressing my mouth to hers in another passionate kiss. Her lips are salty. Too salty. See, Eris whispers against my mouth, pulling back just enough to meet my eyes. You are very delicious. And then we continue. This time, it's me fingering her. A while later, I'm beat. I groan, collapsing onto the bed. My body still tingles with lingering arousal. Yes, I'm still horny, somehow, but exhaustion weighs on me like a heavy blanket. Meanwhile, Eris lies beside me, looking all too ready for another round. Eris, I whine. I can't anymore. Eris chuckles. It's okay, she says. We can continue tomorrow. And besides, that much sex should be enough to get you pregnant. She adds nonchalantly. Wait, what? Preg what? I am sorry. W, what did you just say? P, pregnant. My heart nearly stops. She didn't just say pregnant, right? That's impossible, right? Right? However, what? You don't want to have my babies. Eris teases. WWWWWAIT, aim minuty. I bolt upright, tail puffing out. We are both girls, right? How can I get pregnant? Isn't that impossible? Yeah, that doesn't make any sense. After all, how the heck can I get pregnant without receiving any sperm? Huh? You don't know. Eris blinks, furrowing her brows. If my magic is strong enough, I can just imbue it into your body. Voila! Instant pregnancy. Huh? Hiya? I stare at her, utterly horrified. Why, you're joking, right? But Eris' face is straight. She's not. And then she smiles before leaning down to kiss and rub my belly. I can't wait to meet my tiny Felicias in 9 months. No. My head now spinning. No. I don't want kids yet. I'm still too young. And besides, I don't want to go through childbirth yet. I'm not ready. However, looking at Eris, who seems so happy right now. Damn it. Too late to turn back now. And now that I think about it, it's actually not as bad as it seems. Well, I guess 1 or 2 babies won't hurt, right? And besides, if I can give birth to a few mini Eris, who will be just as beautiful and healthy and gorgeous as her, that would be so nice, right? And just like that, the thought soothes my mind somehow. And for some reason, I suddenly find myself looking forward to it. But then, wait, Felicia, Eris mutter, her expression serious. You seriously believe that? Huh? I blink. Believe what? Eris, she tricked me. She freaking tricked me again. But what makes me even madder is the fact that I actually fell for it. How was I so stupid? Inalo, I'm so sorry. I'm sorry, stop. Eris pleads, but it's too late. I've already launched my tickle attack. Take that, Eris. Taste the wrath of a catgirl's tickles. She rides under my assault, giggling uncontrollably. Meanwhile, relief settles in my chest, knowing I won't actually get pregnant. Phew, I feel good. This means unlimited, worryless sex. Suddenly, Eris twists around and grabs my wrist, effortlessly flipping me onto my back before climbing on top of me again. She leans down, her face hovering inches from mine. You're so cute, Felicia. I can never get enough of you, she whispers. I know, I say back. Now that we had sex and all, there's no way I would be easily flustered like before. I'm desensitized to Eris. Mohahaha. But then, Eris murmurs, lips hovering near mine. If I had a dick, I'd impregnate you at every chance I got. And as she said that, she sounded dead serious. Like she really, really meant it. And as a result, dump. Enough. I squeak, cheeks blazing as I shove her away and roll over, facing the wall. Damn it, why is my face so hot? And what the heck is wrong with me now? Why am I giggling? Oh, come on. Felicia. Eris then whispers my name. Her arms snake around my waist, pulling me into a warm, comforting spoon. I love you, she murmurs softly. I love you too. I whisper back. We lie there in silence for a while, saying nothing at all, just soaking in each other's warmth. And yet, my heart refuses to calm down. Damn it, my mind keeps conjuring up these perverted thoughts. Eris with a dick. A big, veined dick attached to her already perfect body, throbbing with power and desire as she spreads my legs open. Oh my God, I don't know what's come over me, but I must be losing it. because for some reason, that's seriously kind of hot. The best feeling in the world? Waking up with my face buried in soft, bouncy boobies. I stir awake, momentarily disoriented, but quickly lulled by the comforting warmth of Eris's body pressed firmly against mine. Her smooth skin brushes against my cheeks, and her gentle, familiar scent envelopes me like a cozy blanket. Slowly, I inhale, savoring this blissful moment, then lean forward to place a soft kiss on the curve of her cleavage. "Hey, good morning," she murmurs, voice playful as it tickles my ear. "Morning," I reply, unable to resist the giddy smile tugging at my lips. "How long have you been up?" I ask, tightening my hug around her. "Not too long," she answers, fingers threading through my hair in a tender ruffle. "I just wanted to watch you sleep for a bit. How was your rest?" Rather than answer right away, I let my mouth drift to one of her nipples, too absorbed in the temptation before me. Eris sighs softly, a slight tremor in her voice. "You just woke up? Ah, and you're already hungry." I respond, intensifying my rhythm. My tongue circles her nipple, grazing it with gentle nibbles. It hardens between my lips, sending a delightful shiver through my body. "Ah," she breathes again, pulling me closer and nipping at my ear in turn. A moment later, her hand trails down past my hips, eventually letting one finger slip into my wet slit. I moan, feeling a surge of electricity course through me, instantly reigniting my lust. Slowly, I relax in her touch, allowing her long, slender finger to delve deeper inside. From there, it takes no time at all before we both succumb to yet another sweet, heady round of morning sex. The bed creaks beneath us, and our heated moans fill the room until time becomes a blur. By the time we notice our surroundings again, noon has arrived. At last, I collapse on top of Eris, gasping for breath, my body tingling and drenched in sweat. Glancing up, I notice she still appears relatively unfazed. Her seemingly boundless stamina never fails to amaze me. "Well," she says, offering a mischievous smile, "now that you've had your breakfast, what do you want for lunch?" "Meat," I blurt out without hesitation. "Filet and bird, horned rabbit, something hearty." She laughs. "All right, hearty meat it is. And after that, what would you like to do?" Not sure," I admit, shrugging playfully. "I'll follow your lead." "Great. I still have some more places to show you," Eris replies, her eyes gleaming. I answer in agreement. Since my identity card will still take a few days to finalize, I can't start work in the kitchen just yet. Consequently, I find myself with a handful of free days to explore Mistvale as I please. We lie there together for a few moments longer while I catch my breath. Eventually, once I feel ready to face the day, we both slip into fresh clothes, gearing up for whatever awaits us. A while later, we find ourselves at the bustling food market, each of us clutching a flame-grilled horned rabbit leg and devouring it with unabashed enthusiasm. Horned rabbit is the best," I exclaim, letting out a pleased purr. Sure, filet and birds are tasty, but there's something about horned rabbit legs that puts them in a league of their own. I take another bite, my sharp fangs puncturing the crisp, charred skin and sinking into the tender muscle beneath. As I tear off a chunk, a delicious blend of herbs and spices floods my mouth, perfectly balancing the meat's natural gaminess. The taste is so divine that my mind nearly goes blank from sheer bliss. Meanwhile, Eris devours her own meal at record speed, even chomping straight through the bone. Crunch, crunch, crunch. So incredibly crunchy. Not a single scrap goes to waste. Wow. I pause, staring at her in awe. No matter how many times I see her do that, it never ceases to amaze me. Feeling curious, I decide to give it a try myself. Biting down hard, I hope to crack the bone. But nothing. It's like gnawing on a stone. I can't even make a dent in it. Ugh, this is impossible. Eris bursts out laughing, shaking her head in amusement. My ears flatten at her reaction. Eris, why are you laughing? I protest. You need way more bite force to do that. Silly. she teases, her voice light. Right now, you'll only end up chipping your teeth. Eh? I exclaim, wrinkling my nose in confusion. But we're both cat furring, so why can you do it and I can't? Because I'm A rank, that's why. Eris replies with a wink. Besides, it's a good way for me to train my jaws. Crunch, another bone shatters under her jaw. She slurps up the marrow before chewing through the rest of it. Ugh, my mind reels with the realization. So for her, eating is also a form of training. That's so efficient. However, a sudden and unsettling thought crosses my mind. Wait, I stammer. Have you ever killed anyone with your bite? Oh, of course. Eris answers breezily, her eyes gleaming with dark amusement at the recollection. One time, a guy immobilized my arms and legs with a shackle spell, so I had no choice but to rip out his throat and crush his Adam's apple. I gulp, my stomach lurching at the vivid image. Instinctively, I lift a hand to shield my own neck. Of all the ways to die, having your throat torn out by a catgirl might be one of the most brutal. In my head, I can almost see Eris drenched in blood like some vampiric nightmare, and the thought both terrifies and strangely intrigues me. Well, Eris continues, aside from that one, maybe 3 or 4 more guys. I don't remember exactly. I usually prefer swords. I'm not that feral. But hey, sometimes desperate situations call for desperate measures. Her words remind me yet again of the harsh reality of adventurer life. Endless danger, unpredictable outcomes, and the constant need to train in any way possible. Eventually, Eris wipes her mouth after polishing off her 5th horned rabbit leg. I'm stuffed. How about you, Felicia? Same, I reply, swallowing my final morsel of meat. I only manage 4 legs and already feel drowsy. She hands me a small flask of minty alcohol, which we use to rinse out our mouths. Swish, swish, swish. Then we spit onto a patch of grass. The sharp sting burns my tongue, but at least my mouth feels clean and fresh. So, Eris begins, picking at her teeth with a wooden toothpick. Would you prefer to take a nap? Or shall we head to the dungeon? Dungeon, I answer without a moment's hesitation. She nods approvingly. All right then, let's stop by the Adventurers Guild first and pick up a quest. Earlier, Eris had presented me with several ways to spend the day, and I chose the dungeons, but only the lowest grade ones, of course. As much as she worries about me going into dangerous places, learning the basics seems like the smart thing to do. After all, dungeons are an integral part of this world, and everyone needs at least a fundamental understanding and proper preparation before venturing inside. Once again, we find ourselves at the Adventurers Guild, standing in front of the quest board where adventurers select their missions. Each quest note is color-coded, indicating the minimum rank required. No color, E rank or below. Green, D rank. Blue, C rank. Purple, B rank. Yellow, A rank. Red, S rank. At present, the board only has B rank quests and below. According to Eris, there hasn't been a yellow, A rank, quest posted for over 5 months, and no red, S rank, quest in a couple of years. Those high-level tasks are typically the most dangerous, often requiring teams of A rank or S rank adventurers. However, A rank or S rank dungeons, though extremely rare, do appear from time to time. Beyond this color coding, quests fall into a few main categories. Subjugation quests. Adventurers must defeat a certain number of monsters in a dungeon and return with specific materials, e.g., claws, fangs, or other drops, as proof. Gathering quests. These involve collecting particular items from within a dungeon, such as mana crystals or rare herbs and flowers. The guild, or whoever issued the quest, needs these materials for research, crafting, or other specialized uses. Exploration quests. Whenever a new dungeon appears, or when an uncharted section of an existing dungeon requires investigation, exploration quests are issued. These missions often involve guiding cartographers or academics to map new regions and study unique dungeon phenomena. Sometimes, exploration quests delve into ancient ruins, too. Crime quests, listed separately as separate board displays bounties on criminals who hide in dungeons to evade authorities. These quests function like wanted posters, with the guild offering rewards for information leading to an arrest or for bringing the outlaws in directly. After spending a few moments carefully considering our options, Eris snaps her fingers and says, let's go with this. She plucks a quest note from the main board. It's a green-coded gathering quest. Leaning over her shoulder, I skim the details. Quest type, gathering. Danger, D rank. Dungeon, Lake Vanessa. Request, 10 plus Vanessa lilies with frozen petals. Has to be kept frozen. Reward, 2,000 crowns for each 10 flowers gathered, up to 20,000 crowns. Note, do not touch the flowers with bare hands, and be aware of frogs. Just don't step into within 10 meters from them, or they will notice you, and try your best not to pick any flower with a frog guarding it. Well, if your lads are strong enough to beat up those fuckers and get their core, feel free to do so. I will also be paying you 100 crowns for each core. Oh, this sounds amazing, I exclaim, practically bouncing with excitement. And the pay is fantastic, too. Great find. Honestly, 2,000 crowns for just 10 flowers? Considering my salary at the Gilded Horn would be around 50 crowns an hour, this is a huge payoff. No wonder so many people want to become adventurers. But Eris taps me on the head hard. Ow, ow. I yelp, rubbing the spot where she hit me. Silly, Eris mutters, shaking her head in disapproval. If the reward is really that great, then why hasn't anyone else picked up this quest already? I falter. She's got a point. If this reward is so lucrative, why is the quest still posted? The guild is full of capable-looking adventurers who should have snapped it up by now, especially if it's only labeled D rank. Unless, why you mean it's not really D rank? I ask warily. Exactly, Eris replies, flashing a wry grin. Though Lake Vanessa is rated D rank overall, the specific area where the blue Vanessa lilies grow has a high mana concentration and is considered more like C-rank territory. Plus, the frogs there are tough. Even a C-rank party might struggle, especially if they stumble on a big group of them. Gulp. I swallow hard. Even C-ranked adventurers are at risk? What the hell? Then you are saying this one is a dirty scam quest? No way. That should be illegal, right? Why would the guild allow this? They are putting adventurers in danger. Well, technically she says with a shrug, it's still doable at D rank, provided you're incredibly lucky though Sometimes, the lilies can sprout outside the dangerous zone, and if you manage to collect your 10 flowers there, you'll complete the quest without setting foot in the high mana region. Oh, my eyes widen. That does make sense. Still, shouldn't the quest be classified as C rank to avoid confusion? Then more experienced adventurers will be likely to tackle it, right? Eris chuckles. You'd think so, right? But making it C rank would force the quest issuer to pay a higher registration fee and increase the reward to meet C rank standards. It's cheaper for them to leave it at D. That's shady, I blurt out. It is, Eris agrees, nodding. But it's a common trick. People try to fit their requests into the lowest rank possible to cut costs. They bank on desperate adventurers who will still take the risk. At higher ranks, this kind of tactic is rarer, since those quests are usually tied to serious, large-scale dangers. Right? That makes sense. But still, I feel bad for anyone who accidentally take on quests like these. Not only they won't be able to retrieve the flowers, they would potentially be in grave danger as well. Don't worry, adventurers aren't idiots, Eris reassures me, patting my back. As you can see, nobody's touched the quest because it looks shady. Everybody knows how dangerous Lake Vanessa is. Unless they're complete newbies, then, well, she smiles thinly. It'll be quite an experience for them, if they survive. Her eyes narrow ominously, and I swallow hard. So, why did you take this quest? I ask, still puzzled. Even though I understand the quest's pitfalls, something doesn't add up. You said it's not worth it, right? Why? Eris winks. Because Lake Vanessa is really pretty, that's why. I really wanted to show it to you. And besides, I'm only an E-rank adventurer, remember? I can only take D-rank quests. I blink. But you actually are Yoo-hoo. Suddenly it clicks. Right? Right. She's actually A-rank, but her current ID only shows E-rank status. By law, that means she's limited to picking D-rank quests. Therefore, this quest, with the highest reward amount among all the other D-rank quests, is actually her best choice. And given the fact that Eris is super strong, there will be no danger for her taking it at all. C-ranked, or even B-rank quests are just cakewalks for her. All right, ready to go? Eris asks, nodding toward the registration desk. In, I reply, excitement bubbling up in my chest. And with that, we head over to register our party, ready to tackle. As we approach the registration counter, we're greeted by a cute fox furrin in a professional adventurer's guild uniform, a dark green suit paired with a neatly tied black bow tie. Her fluffy orange tail sways slightly behind her, and her long, perky ears twitch at our arrival. Her short bobbed hair frames her face perfectly, making her look both sharp and approachable. Her name, Emma, is displayed on a small golden nameplate pinned to her suit. "We'd like to take this quest, please," Eris says, handing over the quest paper we pulled from the board. Emma flashes a polite, professional smile. "Of course. May I have your ID, please?" "Sure," Eris replies, casually fishing out her forged ID from her pocket and passing it over. Emma takes a moment to examine both the quest paper and Eris's ID. However, as expected of an experienced guild staff member, her eyes immediately flicker with suspicion. Not with the ID, though, but the quest itself. Her fluffy tail stiffens slightly, and she leans forward, lowering her voice. Are you sure you want to take this quest? Lake Vanessa isn't exactly the safest place." There's a genuine concern in her voice. Eris remains unfazed. "Yes, is there a problem?" Emma hesitates, glancing around to make sure no one else is listening before subtly gesturing for us to come closer. She leans out of her booth, lowering her voice to a near whisper. "I'm breaking guild policy by saying this, but this quest is a scam." Her eyes flick between us anxiously. "It may be labeled as a D-rank quest, but honestly, I wouldn't take it unless I was at least C-rank. Ms. Eris, you're only E-rank. If you go to Lake Vanessa, you might not make it back." Wow, that impresses me. My heart feels a bit warm. To think there's a guild receptionist like this, genuinely caring about other people. I hope Guild Master Carl gives her a raise soon. "Thank you," Eris replies smoothly, "but there's no problem." "Huh?" Emma blinks, her fluffy ears twitching in confusion. "Wait, didn't you hear what I just said? Lake Vanessa." "Actually," Eris suddenly leans in closer and whispers something directly into Emma's ear. I can't hear a word of it, but whatever she said, Emma's entire expression shifts. Her eyes widen, and she gasps slightly. "Ah, I see." A bright smile replaces her previous concern, and she straightens up cheerfully. "Then, I'll register you for this quest right away." "Huh? What? Just like that?" I'm dumbfounded. "Thanks." Eris grins as Emma rummages beneath the counter for the necessary paperwork. And then, within minutes, everything is sorted. "Thank you for taking the quest. Please stay safe, and good luck." Emma chimes with a renewed enthusiasm. After exchanging thanks, we step out of the Adventurers Guild and into the open air. Moments later, as we are now outside, "Eris, what did you say to Emma earlier that makes her change her attitude?" I ask. My tail is being restless. My curiosity is eating me alive. Eris just winks. Hee, it's a secret. Eris. I pout dramatically, crossing my arms as I glare at her. "Stree." Eris snickers, shaking her head in defeat. All right. Geez, look at you, staring like that." She leans in close and whispers, "It's nothing special. I just told her that I want to take you sightseeing, that's all." Sightseeing? Oh, right. You told me that Lake Vanessa is really pretty." I exclaim, feeling a spark of excitement. "Yep, it really is," Eris nods. From Emma's perspective, it must have seemed like we were only taking the quest to admire the scenery, not actually fight anything. No life-threatening battles. No monster ambushes. Just a casual stroll through a beautiful, scenic lake. But something about it still doesn't add up. Did Emma really believe that? I narrow my eyes further. "Really?" Eris tilts her head innocently, wearing a smug little smile. "What? You don't believe me?" She ruffles my hair, laughing. Can't be that simple, right? Haha. Look at you, when did you get so smart? She laughs. All right, sightseeing aside, the main reason I took the quest is to prevent other E-rank adventurers taking it. My ears perk up. Oh, now that a good answer. I know, right? Eris winks. I grin. So, the real reason for Eris to take this quest is so that some poor, unsuspecting newbie wouldn't be walking straight into a death trap. Honestly, that's kind of cool. But then, hey, I squint. What do you mean, when did you get so smart? Eris bursts out laughing. Haha. Yes, you're always smart, Felicia. Oomph, that's more like it. She then smirks mischievously. All right then, smart girl. Do you remember the 10 dungeon safety rules? I nod enthusiastically, puffing up my chest before proudly reciting everything I've learned. Earlier, on our way here, Eris already told me about the rules. 10 essential dungeon safety rules. It's to ensure survival and success for all adventurers venturing into the depths of unknown dungeons. 1. Never go alone. Dungeons are unpredictable and can be filled with hidden threats, ambushes, traps, or deadly monsters. A lone adventurer is easy prey. Always venture with a balanced party to cover individual weaknesses and boost survival odds. 2. Double-check the dungeon. Because new dungeons appear constantly, confirm you're entering the correct one. Carefully read any posted signs or ask nearby knights and guild staff. If a dungeon is missing its sign or seems unmarked, do not enter. Report it. It could be newly formed, unstable, or far more hazardous than expected. 3. Have an escape plan. Before stepping inside, make sure you have multiple ways out. Mark pathways, keep teleport scrolls at the ready, or memorize key landmarks. Adventurers who charge in without a backup route tend to become another grim statistic. 4. Study and prepare thoroughly. Knowledge is power. Research the dungeon's layout, monsters, and potential hazards beforehand. Talk to seasoned adventurers, review guild intel, or buy detailed maps. Also, maintain your gear in top condition, checking for damage and stocking up on essentials. Always double-check your inventory. Small oversights can be fatal. 5. Don't touch unknown objects. Mysterious artifacts, glowing flora, or random items on the ground can be cursed, trapped, or even hidden monsters. Always be cautious when interacting with unfamiliar objects. A moment's carelessness can spell disaster. 6. Manage resources wisely. Your supplies, food, potions, mana reserves, torches, and weapon durability are limited. Conserve them, and don't waste healing items on minor injuries. Save your energy for times of true peril. 7. Be aware of the dungeon ecosystem. Dungeons have an internal balance. Killing too many weaker creatures might draw out more powerful predators. Stealing rare materials could awaken guardians. Using excessive magic can trigger hidden consequences. Understand these dynamics before rushing in. 8. Trust your instincts. If the atmosphere suddenly feels heavy or an unnatural silence sets in, heed the warning. Many adventurers perish because they ignore that nagging sense of danger screaming at them to retreat. 9. Watch out for other adventurers. Not every threat comes from beasts. Rival parties, bandits, or criminals often lurk within dungeons, posing as allies or waiting to ambush. Be cautious and only trust those with proven reputations. Lastly, Rule 10. Nothing is worth your life. No treasure or relic justifies losing your life. If a situation looks grim, abandon greed and focus on surviving. The dead don't spend gold, and no artifact is worth becoming just another skeleton. Wow, you already memorized most of them? Eris exclaims, visibly impressed that I managed to recite almost all 10 of the dungeon safety rules. Hee hee, I reply, scratching my nose. Both my ears and my tail perk up with pride. Of course, Eris had to give me a few hints, but I've pretty much got them down now. Anyways, have you ever broken any of those rules? I ask, curious. Eris tilts her head thoughtfully. Well, sometimes. Like when? She shrugs. For example, I'll occasionally go into a dungeon alone. Hey, I frown. That's literally the most important rule. I know, she says with a small smile. But sometimes there are exceptions. It really depends on the situation. I narrow my eyes. What sort of situation? Well, I'm an A-rank adventurer, she explains casually. So there's no real reason to bring anyone along to a D-rank dungeon, right? Oh, that makes sense, I concede. In that case, it's almost impossible for someone as strong as Eris to be endangered by a D-rank dungeon. Yeah, and besides, she continues, these rules are guidelines, not absolute laws. That doesn't mean you can just ignore them, though. If you're inexperienced and below C rank, you'd better stick to every single one. I've seen far too many deaths that could have been avoided if people had just followed the basics. I nod. I will follow. Also, Eris suddenly halts and spins to face me, planting her hands on her hips. For you, I'm adding a new rule, Rule 11. 11. I blink. Yeah, Rule 11, Eris rule. Never go into the dungeon without Eris. That makes me chuckle. All right, promise. Eris raises her pinky finger, looking at me expectantly. Ooh, I beam. A pinky promise. Just like how I showed her 2 days ago. Yes, I say, and hook my pinky around hers. And with that, our promise is sealed. After that, we happily continue on our way. But before leaving town, we still have to pass through the main gate. A moment later, a town guard steps forward, raising his armored hand to block our path. He's a bear fur-run, towering, broad-shouldered, radiating an aura that makes even the cobblestones seem to shrink. His gleaming full-plate armor, etched with faint runes, looks impossibly heavy, yet he wears it as effortlessly as a second skin. A massive broadsword hangs across his back, its hilt worn from use, while tufts of coarse fur bristle from the gaps in his steel-clad joints. I stare up at him. What's it like inside that armor? I wonder. The midday sun glares off the metal, and I wince in sympathy. The heat inside that shell must be unbearable. Nearby, another bear furrin, nearly identical to the first, is stopping another group of travelers. They must be twins. Interesting. Good afternoon, ladies. The bear furrin greets us. Hi. Eris greets him back. I also bow slightly. You two are heading out of town? Please show me your ID, the guard asks. Eris reacts without hesitation. She pulls out her ID from a small pouch at her hip, holding it up for him to see. Meanwhile, I scramble to produce a piece of official-looking parchment, my temporary guild pass, explaining that my ID is still being processed. As the bear furrin guard looks at it, I can feel my heart pounding a little harder than usual. Because, of course, same as Eris ID, every single piece of information on my paper is also fake. Name, Felicia Flufftail. Date of birth, August 13th, 1305. Race, cat furrin. Hometown, Sablethorn, Zirak Desert. Adventurer rank, E. Criminal record, none. Flufftail, the guard murmurs, glancing from my paperwork to my tail. Hey, I protest, crossing my arms self-consciously. The towering bear furrin guard quickly bows, lowering his bulky shoulders in an attempt at an apology. I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to stare. It's okay. I say hastily. And my father has a fluffy tail, but my mom doesn't. Oh, I see. The guard responds with an understanding nod. Yeah, Flufftail. It's definitely on the odd side for a family name, but in the Zirak Desert region, weird surnames are apparently pretty common. Originally, I picked it because it sounded cute out of all the options that the guild master presented to me, but now that I think about it, my tail isn't even that fluffy. Well, too late to change now. Still, it beats something like Felicia Long Whiskers or Felicia Soft Pawpaws. All right, Ms. Wildfang. He hands Eris's ID back. And Ms. Flufftail, he returns mine. If you don't mind me asking, are you two heading to the dungeons today? Yes, we are, Eris replies. Is there a problem? Not at all, the bear furrin guard says. It's just that there have been some criminal activities lately, so please be extra careful in the dungeons. Criminals? Is it the Crimson Order? Eris asks, her eyes narrowing slightly. The guard expression shifts, and he nods gravely. So you've heard the rumors too. Only bits and pieces, Eris admits. Would you mind filling me in? I'm not completely sure what's happening. Well, the The bare Feringar begins, his tone more subdued now. Some wanted members of the Crimson Order were found dead recently. What? Someone killed them? Eris says, feigning surprise. Do we have any idea who did it? He shakes his head. The knights and the guilds are investigating, but there's no information yet. No idea who's responsible or what really happened. Either way, stay vigilant out there. Understood, Eris says, giving him a courteous bow. I follow suit, bowing politely. It seems Guildmaster Carlagen's efforts to cover for us worked. Nobody suspects Eris as the one who took out those Crimson Order thugs. Phew. With that, we're finally allowed to exit the town, strolling through the gates without any trouble. See, Eris grins as soon as we're clear. Told you there was nothing to worry about. She winks mischievously. And in, I nod in agreement, feeling a wave of relief. We set off heading west. According to Eris, the entrance to the Lake Vanessa dungeon is somewhere inside the forest just beyond Mistvale's western edge. It shouldn't take more than a few hours to reach, so with a little luck, we'll arrive well before sundown. And once again, my embarrassingly pathetic stamina gets the better of me. In less than an hour, my legs turn to jelly, and I can barely shuffle forward without gasping for breath. My heart hammers like an overtaxed engine, and I can't even manage a coherent sentence. Sensing my struggle, Eris comes to a halt and leans forward, beckoning me. Hop on, she says. Tears of relief well up in my eyes. Achu, Eris. I sniffle, then climb on her back, settling my arms around her shoulders. I could tough it out if we took a break, but then we'd risk not reaching our destination before sundown. Of course, Eris is strong. She doesn't appear bothered at all by the extra weight. She's barely breaking a sweat. Oh, this is nice. I relax myself on Eris' back. No need to walk, enjoy the scenery. And most importantly, hugging Eris. However, a few minutes later, as we continue through the forest, she suddenly pipes up. You know you can't just ride me for free, right? I squeak in surprise. W, what do you mean by that? She gives me a mischievous grin. I mean, you owe me some sort of payment. Yes, payment. I exclaim, then quickly pause. W, wait, but what kind of payment do you want? I barely have any money, being unemployed and all. So, I'm essentially broke. Eris taps her chin theatrically. In that case, I'll take an emotional payment. Emotional payment? I echo, blinking a few times. Then the realization hits, and my ears perk up. Oh, right. Eagerly, I lean over her shoulder and plant an enthusiastic kiss on her cheek. Mwah. Then another one. Mwah. Mwah. I pepper her with loud smooches. Mwah, 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 mwah. There, that's 10 kisses. Enough. Eris laughs, shaking her head. So you want both cheeks? I declare, sliding to the other side to do the same. Mwah, mwah, mwah. Times 10 again. That's 20 kisses in total. Satisfied? To my dismay, she just giggles. Nope, she says, eyes dancing with amusement. How is that not enough? I wail. How many more kisses do you need? W, wait. My cheeks suddenly burn, and I shake my head. Don't tell me you want that. Eris, we're out in the open. Honestly, no matter how horny she might be, doing that outdoors would be a complete disaster if someone saw us. Eris narrows her eyes, the corners of her mouth curling mischievously. Hey, what are you even thinking about? W, what do you mean? I stammer, feeling my face grow even hotter. I mean, if you really wanted to, then... My gaze drifts to the side. The forest floor is blanketed in tall bushes, pretty high, actually. We could slip behind them, as long as we keep our voices down. But still, doing this in the middle of the day, in nature, that would be so shameless. But, I don't know why. I kinda want to do it. That would be so wild. Eris chuckles. Haha. Silly, I know exactly what you're thinking. But that's not what I meant. Unless you're feeling really adventurous. And then whoa. I yelp, face practically on fire. Eris suddenly clicks her tongue. Anyway, if we tried anything now, we'd be late. Why, yeah. I squeak. We don't have time. Mortified, I bury my face in Eris's cloak, wishing I could vanish on the spot. Damn it. Since when I've turned into such a naughty girl. I'm such a big perv. I want to find a hole already. Well then, I venture. What do you want for an emotional payment? Oh, Eris says, brightening. I was thinking you could send me a song. Heh, a song. I blink. Yeah, you're from another world, right? I'm curious about the music there. What kind of songs do you like? I pause, recalling how I used to belt out tunes in the shower back on Earth. I'm not that great at singing, I admit sheepishly. I mean, I do it sometimes, but that's okay. Eris laughs. I promise not to judge. All right, but don't blame me if your ears start bleeding. I huff, half joking, half worried. Settling more comfortably on her back, I mull over what songs to try. My favorites back on Earth were J-pop and the occasional heavy metal track, but there's no way I can replicate that here, let alone in Japanese. After a moment, I inhale, clear my throat, and announce, okay, I've got it. Ready for my song. I feel Eris's ears perk up in anticipation. Ready, she says. And so, I start singing, quietly at first, then with more confidence, some of the familiar melodies I remember from Earth. A few English pop choruses and catchy tunes spill from my lips, echoing through the forest path as Eris carries me onward. Moments later, yo, baby, yo, you know the rules, and Sidhu, Ajay. Eris chuckles quietly, trying to keep her shoulders steady so I won't slip off. Hey, I huff. How was that? Amazing, right? Absolutely, she nods enthusiastically. The lyrics are something else, right? I beam, feeling proud. Never gonna give you up. Never gonna let me down. Never gonna run around and hurt you. The lyrics are so beautiful that it perfectly captures my love for Eris. Hee hee. And I'll never let you down either, Eris replies softly. I'll stay with you to the end of time. Ah, Eris. I give her an extra tight hug. After a moment, I pipe up again. Hey, Eris, can you sing for me too? Yeah. Now that I think about it, I'm in a whole new world. That means new culture and music. Then, what's the better way to explore one's culture through its music? I'm excited and curious. All right, want to hear my songs? Eris announces. Oh, I perk up. Wait, your songs. My ears twitch in anticipation. Oh no. Eris clarifies, not my original song, but it's a folk song I love. My mom and dad used to sing it to me when I was little, and apparently they learned it from my grandparents. Oh, so it's a traditional tune, passed down through generations? Exactly. It's a classic cat fur and folk song. Aye, sounds perfect. I'm excited already. Eris clears her throat, pauses for a heartbeat, then begins to sing. As Eris's voice resonates through the forest. What? The actual? Heck, it's good? No, not only good. It's amazing. I'm struck breathless by how angelic it sounds. It's as though the entire woods are holding their breath to listen. The melody cradles me in a warm embrace, brimming with hope, love, and pure happiness. Goosebumps dance across my skin as I rest my head against her shoulder, feeling a cozy sense of belonging. I can't stop smiling. Eris, your singing is so good. I absolutely love it, I murmur. Then, would you like to hear another? She asks, a tender light in her eyes. I nod enthusiastically. And so she does. One song flows into the next, each more magical and majestic than the last. Meanwhile, she carries me through the narrow, winding forest path, weaving around thick tree trunks and over brush-strewn ground. Everything around us feels so vibrant, like nature itself is tuning into her voice. Small rabbits emerge from bushes, ears perked curiously. Butterflies flutter overhead, as if they're dancing in time with her melody. Shafts of sunlight pierce through the leafy canopy, creating a dreamy, natural stage just for us. Even the raspy crunch of fallen leaves beneath Eris's feet seems to match the rhythm of her song. Lost in the magic of her voice, I hardly notice the time passing, until the sun's final glow leads us to a spacious outpost in the heart of the forest. We arrive just in time. The sky has already darkened, and the moon and stars are gradually coming into view. Up ahead, an outpost sprawls across a wide clearing in the forest, its perimeter enclosed by low wooden fences. A few guards patrol the area, and a short guard tower, bearing the Adventurers Guild emblem on a large flag, stands watch. Meanwhile, wooden torches line the path, offering a gentle, flickering glow that pushes back the shadows of the encroaching night. "We're here, Felicia," Eris says, gently setting me down from her back. "This is the Vanessa outpost. We'll stay here tonight and head to the dungeon tomorrow morning." And then I reply, briefly smoothing out my hair and clothes, wanting to appear at least a little presentable. According to Eris, outposts like this serve three crucial purposes. First and foremost, they provide a resting place for adventurers both before and after their perilous dungeon ventures. Since journeying from Mistvale can take hours or even days, depending on the dungeon, it's practical to have a nearby hub. In fact, many seasoned adventurers opt to base themselves here rather than renting a place in the city, returning to Mistvale only when necessary. Secondly, these outposts can act as modest trading points. While not as lively or expansive as the main markets back in town, they still allow adventurers to sell items obtained from dungeon runs without having to haul everything back to Mistvale. Granted, the prices may be slightly lower, but it saves a great deal of time. Merchants also frequent these places, purchasing goods to resell at a profit in the city. Conversely, adventurers can acquire weapons, armor, potions, and other vital resources right here. Weapon rentals and repair services are available too. Lastly, and perhaps most importantly, the outpost serves as an early line of defense in the event of a dungeon break. Should monsters ever spill forth unexpectedly, the adventurers stationed here would respond first. There are 5 large outposts around Mistvale, plus several smaller ones. The larger outposts are regulated by the Adventurers Guild, while smaller ones might be privately owned by other guilds. "All right, let's head inside," Eris suggests. After providing our IDs to the guards at the entrance, we pass through the fences and enter the outpost. "Wow, this is amazing!" I exclaim, unable to hide my awe as I take in the sight around me. It looks like a small, self-contained village hidden deep in the forest. Wooden cabins are scattered throughout a clearing, while a spacious area is set aside for tents. Off to one corner, there's a section filled with training dummies for practicing combat, and just beside it sits a modest trade station where adventurers can buy and sell supplies. At the heart of the outpost, a large bonfire crackles and glows, providing a warm, comforting light over the entire scene. Besides the guards, about 20 people are milling around, each occupied with some task. A few sit on wooden benches, chatting quietly or having a meal, while others practice swordplay, their armor reflecting the dancing flames. Without lingering, we make our way toward the biggest building here, a large wooden house adorned with multiple guild flags. This, as Eris explains, is the Vanessa Outpost headquarters, where we can register ourselves and secure a place to stay. As soon as we walk in, a human woman dressed in the Adventurers Guild uniform greets us. "Good evening," she says politely. Glancing around, I notice that the interior decor and layout immediately remind me of the Adventurers Guild back in Mistvale, though it's clearly on a smaller scale, with more wooden furniture and fewer people bustling about. "Hi," Eris begins, returning the greeting with a friendly nod. "We just arrived from Mistvale and want to rent a place for the night." "Sure," the woman replies, gesturing toward her right. "You can speak with Lisa at counter number 3. "Got it, thanks," Eris says before heading that way. I follow close behind, curious to see what our options are. Behind the counter, Lisa greets us with a bright smile. She's young, likely 18 or 19, with twin ginger braids framing a delicate face. "Good evening," she says in a cheerful tone. "You looking to rent a place to stay?" "Yes, please," Eris answers. "Would you prefer a cabin or a tent?" Lisa inquires. "Oh, a cabin, please," Eris responds without hesitation. "Great," Lisa chimes. "And what kind of cabin did you have in mind?" Eris pauses for a moment, then turns to me. "Felicia, what do you think?" I blink in surprise. I've never been here before, so I'm not sure. "I see," Lisa murmurs understandingly. She hands me a slip of paper listing different cabin types and their prices. I look it over, realizing there are far more options than I expected. Bronze tier. Size, 15 square meters. Description, This option includes a single bed for the night, along with a small closet and a chest for storage. Both the door and windows are secured with minor enchantments to deter thieves. It's suitable for 1 or 2 people. Price: 149 crowns per night of 3,999 crowns per month. Silver tier. Size: 20 square meters. Description: this one is a little bit bigger, comes with a bigger bed and bigger closet and chest. There's also a small desk and chair. Price: 199 crowns per night or 5,499 crowns per month. Gold tier. Size: 35 square meters. Description: in addition to a bed, this tier offers a small kitchen equipped with basic cooking tools and utensils, allowing adventurers to cook their own meals. It also includes a private toilet for added privacy. Price: 299 crowns per night or 7,999 crowns per month. Ruby tier. Size: 75 square meters. Description: designed for groups, this spacious option includes multiple beds and ample room for larger parties looking to save on costs. There's also a small kitchen for cooking. It's perfect for 4 or more adventurers. Price: 399 crowns per night or 10,499 crowns per month. And lastly, the most luxurious one, Diamond tier. Size: 150 square meters. As many bed and furniture as you want. Furnished according to the customer's need. Spacious kitchen with a cooler device that can make ice cream or cold drink. Private luxury toilet, plus a private bath. Also, access to services like free massage, free food, discounted weapon, and armor maintenance. However, the price? 799 crowns per night, or 19.999 crowns per month. Well, G-Gold tier then. A murmur, tugging Eris' arm. 300 crowns per night is ouch. This will hurt very much. I can feel the pain already just by looking at the numbers. But while the prices are quite absurd, and I don't really need the kitchen since we will only stay for 1 night, I need the toilet. As a girl, I can't just wander off into the bushes in a forest full of wild animals and insects, not to mention the other people around here. Besides, I have no idea how clean or unclean the public restrooms might be. You like it? Eris asks, eyeing me curiously. Well, I admit slowly, casting her a tentative look. If we can't afford that, then bronze tier would be fine, I guess. After all, we only need somewhere to sleep safely through the night. As for the restroom issue, I suppose I could ask Eris to go with me if I'm that worried. However, all right, I'll take the diamond tier, Eris suddenly declares. My jaw drops. Nearby, Lisa's eyes go wide in shock. Yeah? Diamond tier, she echoes. Yes, Eris confirms casually, handing the paper back. The most expensive one, please. Meanwhile, I'm practically speechless. Diamond tier cabin. 800 crowns per night. What is going on? Eris turns to me with a smug wink. I need a good rest and a bath. You do too, right? Why, yeah. But that's so much money. I protest in disbelief. Don't worry. We'll earn it back in no time. Eris replies with a carefree laugh. Then she turns back to Lisa, reiterating, diamond tier, please. And then, before I could even gather my thoughts, the transaction is done. Eris signs the paperwork, and just like that, 800 crowns vanish in a heartbeat. Now, holding the key in my hands, I still can't believe it. Eris, however, seems entirely unconcerned. Hey, let's go, I'm hungry, she exclaims. I smell grilled filet. Quick, before they sell out. Why, yeah, let's go. I answer, snapping back to reality. However, I'm still shaking in my boots right now. Oh my goodness. Now that I think about it, right? Eris is an A-rank adventurer. She's likely raking in far more money than an ordinary person could dream of, which explains why she didn't hesitate when buying me expensive clothes, and why she doesn't even blink at the diamond tier cabin's price. Nom nom nom. Phew, I'm stuffed. Time for dessert, I announce after devouring my 10th grilled filet wing of the evening. As always, it's absolutely delicious, though the price here is a bit steeper than at the Gilded Horn, around 30% higher. Still, it's totally worth every crown. Meanwhile, Eris has already finished her meat and is now sipping on a berry smoothie topped with a fluffy swirl of whipped cream. As I watch her enjoying the smoothie, I realize catgirls are indeed cats and girls. We love both cat food and girl food. Yeah, the logic is weird but super simple. While cats are obligate carnivores, unable to taste sweetness, human girls typically love sweets. Hence, catgirls like me can devour both meat and sugary treats. Yup, the best of both worlds. Hee hee. In fact, once I finish a hearty meal of meat, my brain immediately craves something sweet and creamy, like cake or a smoothie. On the flip side, vegetables are practically inedible to us. It seems that the greener they are, the more bitter and vile they taste, and in large quantities, they can even upset a catgirl's sensitive digestive system. A bit of spice is okay, but salad? Yuck, definitely not on our menu anymore. I slip a piece of berry pie into my mouth, and my whole body trembles with blissful delight, my tail swishing around in approval. Eris, this pie is amazing, I exclaim, taking another bite. See, Eris says with a satisfied smile. I told you they make great pies here. And in, I hum in agreement, savoring the sweet, fruity filling and perfectly crispy golden crust. And then, slurp. I slurp on my berry smoothie too. At first, I'm skeptical when Eris told me about the pies. And now, I almost can't believe I'm enjoying such decadent treats in the middle of a forest outpost. Apparently, there's a nearby dungeon rich in berries, so people gather them daily to produce fresh pies, smoothies, and other delicious sweets. How convenient. There's even some people selling slime candies, which we will definitely check out later. I giggle. This doesn't even feel like a dungeon trip. It's more like a resort vacation. I know, right? Eris says, returning my grin. But still, I can't believe you went and rented that diamond tier cabin. I muse, heaving a small sigh. It's so expensive. Bah, stop worrying about it, Eris replies. She then leans back in her chair and takes another sip of her smoothie, looking completely unbothered. After all, money's only good if you're willing to spend it, right? Sometimes, we need to treat ourselves too. Uh-huh. I blink, trying to process the meaning behind Eris's words. On one hand, as broke as I was recently, I would love to save whatever I can. Definitely not spending a fortune on luxurious things like this. But on the other hand, well, I can see your point. If I had money to spare, I'd probably treat myself too. After all, I too had a phase when I spent money like there's no tomorrow. Thousands of dollars, gone, vanished into the black hole called fantasy impact. Back then, I was such a gotcha addiction, and there was even a point when I had to eat ramen for days. So, who am I to question Eris' spending habits now? And besides, it's her money. She can use it however she pleases. But still, there's something I don't quite yet understand. Eris, I say quietly, my curiosity piqued. If you make that much money, why do you still stay at the Gilded Horn? You can definitely afford somewhere bigger, nicer, right? I mean, it's one thing not to blink at renting a diamond tier cabin just for the night, but it's another to live so modestly in a simple tavern day-to-day. It just doesn't make sense the more I think about it. Hearing that, Eris smiles. A dab of whipped cream clings to her upper lip, so she licks it away. Hey, isn't it obvious? She says. I don't really need anything else. Besides, having Gordon around is nice, she adds. Oh, right, I exclaim. Suddenly, it all clicks. I'm so silly. How can I not realize this? After all, no matter how luxurious a place is, it definitely can't beat the cozy warmth of Gordon's Inn. Gordon is always there to protect me. Lily is always there to brighten my day with her cheerful smile and positive energy. Plus, at the Gilded Horns, the best food in Mistvale is just a few steps downstairs. I can literally eat anything I want, anytime when living there. It's basically the best life. Yeah, who needs more when you already have such a cozy room, good friends, and good food? But that's not the only reason, you know. Eris then leans in and says in a lower voice, remember, I'm still an E-rank adventurer now. She then winks at me, and after a second, ooh, I exclaim, nod in understanding. Right. That's the main reason. Since she's hiding her true rank, she can't very well flaunt her money by living in a posh suite full-time, or people would get suspicious. To then, I say hesitantly, lowering my voice to a whisper, shouldn't we avoid booking something as fancy as the diamond-tier cabin tonight? People might investigate you. Nah, it's fine, Eris replies with a shrug. It's only once in a while. Besides, she continues, shooting me a fond smile, you're my girlfriend. I want to treat you to the best. So, let me spoil you a little, okay? But don't. Suddenly, my heart jumps a beat. My cheeks warm at those words, and I can't help a shy giggle. Yeah, all right. I agree softly, but next time, maybe something more modest? I won't want to get you into any trouble. Hee hee, okay, Eris says, taking another leisurely sip of her drink. I continue munching on the berry pie. MH, delicious. Meanwhile, the night air grows cooler, yet the blazing bonfire keeps us cozy as we finish our food. Eventually, Eris stands, stretches her arms overhead, and bends backward like a cat, eliciting a few crackling pops in her neck and spine. That feels good, she sighs. Then she straightens, smiling at me. So, want to walk around? And in. I nod eagerly, rising from my seat. Thus, with our bellies full, we decide to explore the trading corner for a bit, gathering any last-minute supplies we might need for tomorrow's dungeon trip. So, according to Eris, Lake Vanessa is one of the larger dungeons within a much broader complex called the Vanessa Dungeon Cluster, which includes 5 major dungeons and 13 smaller ones. This entire cluster was first discovered and partially explored by Lady Vanessa Loren, the second guildmaster of the Mistvale Adventurers Guild, many, many years ago. Essentially, dungeons can exist within other dungeons. In some places, dungeons connect to each other like a network. Sometimes only 1 or 2 link up, but there can also be dozens or even hundreds interwoven together. It's similar to the way branches grow on a tree, creating a sprawling system known as a dungeon cluster. Apparently, the Vanessa Dungeon Cluster is among the 10 largest clusters in the entire kingdom of Eldenwald. Notably, they all share a perpetually wintry biome, regardless of conditions outside, and certain monsters appear consistently across the different parts of this cluster. With that in mind, Eris and I both realize we need a few essentials before tackling Lake Vanessa. First, we need a map. Mister, how much does it cost to rent a map of the Vanessa dungeons? Eris inquires, gesturing toward a stack of rolled-up maps on a wooden table. Currently, we're in the trading corner of the Vanessa Outpost, where adventurers can buy and sell various supplies. The vendor we're speaking to is a young furry man with distinct squirrel-like features. He wears simple black leather attire and a broad hat, one that has 2 holes, allowing his long, squirrel-like ears to poke through. But it's his fluffy tail that truly catches my eye. Ay. It's so fluffy that I just want to pet it. Just the tail. Thus, while Eris is talking, my eyes are literally glued to the tail. It sways to the left, then to the right like pendulum swings. And my pupil automatically move accordingly like being hypnotized. Oh, which part of the cluster do you want to rent a map for? Or do you want the entire complex? The squirrel man asks, his 2 big front teeth shining as he points to different piles of parchment. One stack is much larger than the others, signifying a complete set of maps for the entire dungeon network. As Eris already mentioned, the Vanessa Dungeon Cluster is massive, so adventurers often choose to rent only the sections they plan to explore rather than carrying around an unwieldy master map. Plus, without printers in this world, creating each copy by hand is painstaking. According to the vendor, these are all hand-drawn by himself. Vanessa Dungeon Map version 5.8, he proudly notes, updated just a few weeks ago after a guild exploration expedition. Some corners remain unmapped, but the Lake Vanessa area we need is quite detailed. Well, we only need the section for Lake Vanessa, Eris explains. Sure thing, the squirrel man replies, reaching into a specific pile before handing Eris a smaller map. That'll be 20 crowns for 1 day. And if you could just sign here. He offers Eris a paper that appears to be a rental contract. Be careful, though, he adds. If you lose my map, you'll have to pay me 460 crowns for it. Understood, Eris replies. She briefly checks the map, ensuring it's what we need, and then scribbles her signature. Here you go. Money and contract, she says, passing him the requested payment. Thanks for your business. The squirrel man grins, tipping his hat. If you need more maps, remember I've got the best deals in town. Absolutely, Eris assures him. And just like that, the transaction is quick and seamless, leaving us with our crucial dungeon map in hand. After that, we move on to the next task, buying other essentials. Since Vanessa dungeons get pretty cold, we'll need some proper gear, Eris explains as she leads the way. And in, I nod, following closely behind. We make our way to a nearby outfitter, where we rent thick jackets, insulated pants, and waterproof boots, all designed with cryo-resistance to keep us warm in the frigid dungeon. Renting the gear here at the outpost is far more convenient than lugging winter wear all the way from Mistvale. After all, traveling light is essential for adventurers. The total rental fee comes out to 50 crowns per day, and after signing a few more contracts, we're all set. Afterward, we wander into the nearby weapon stalls, not because we need anything but just to browse. I already have my trusty Messer sword, which is in prime condition, and Eris? Well, she doesn't need weapons at all, right? I nearly forgot. When she fought those Crimson Order guys, she conjured weapons purely out of mana. I guess that's why she doesn't carry a blade or bow. She can literally summon anything she needs, anytime. That's so cool and convenient. I'd love to inspect her mana weapons someday. Maybe even learn how to use them myself. Suddenly, something catches my eyes. Oh, Eris, look. I tug at her sleeve excitedly, pointing at a display table filled with a particular set of weapons. These are so cool. Wow. Can I try them on? They're claws, sharp, gleaming clawed gauntlets that look incredibly badass. With these, I could be like a certain famous superhero. Well, I have absolutely no clue how to wield them properly, though, considering my only experience with weapons is swinging my messer and maybe chopping onions in a kitchen. But still, they just look so cool. The moment I spot them, I'm instantly filled with an overwhelming urge to slip them on and try slashing at the air. However, Eris doesn't answer. Eris? I murmur, tilting my head. I finally notice she's not even looking at the claws. Instead, her attention is elsewhere, her gaze locked onto another stall. Her ears perk up slightly, her whole body stiffening as she listens intensely to a conversation happening just a few steps away. There are two wolf-furring guys, one sitting and one standing, chatting something. And somehow, this seems to have caught her interest. Her tail flicks ever so slightly, and her hand squeezes mine while browsing the weapons stall. Eris suddenly shifts her attention to the side. Following her gaze, I notice two large wolf ferns resting nearby. Their impressive, muscular builds are similar. Both stand over 2 meters tall, but their hair colors differ. One has a striking silver hue, while the other's as dark as midnight, each framing a human-like face. They're even dressed alike, in slightly tattered shirts straining around their bulging arms. Their hair, long and tousled, falls across broad shoulders. However, one detail immediately catches my eye. The silver-furred wolf is missing his left arm. The bandages are still there, which suggests he lost it not too long ago. Could it have happened during a dungeon incident? Curiosity piqued, I swivel my ears in their direction, quietly focusing on their conversation in an attempt to catch snippets of what they're saying. Haze! The silver-haired wolfman sighs, sounding weary. If our guild master didn't go missing, we wouldn't be in this situation. Well, what can we do? The black-haired wolfman replies with a resigned shrug. We have to stay optimistic. On the bright side, we're still alive. Our wives and children are safe. That's what truly matters. Yeah, you're right. The silver-haired wolfman agrees, though the sadness in his eyes lingers. Compared to our fallen comrades, we are still the very lucky ones. Suddenly, Eris turns to me with a concerned look. Her expression reveals a flicker of worry I can't quite place. She then gestures at the wolfmen and whispers, Felicia, would you mind if I go talk to them real quick? The two wolf ferns hear, and in, I say nodding. However, I can't help but sense something significant behind her request, because there's a tension in her eyes, as though their words struck a personal chord. Thus, together, we approach them. "Excuse me," Eris begins, her tone very polite. "I hope I'm not interrupting, but could I ask you something?" The silver-haired wolfman turns and blinks, then gives a short smile. "Oh, sure, young lady. How can we help?" Nothing too serious." Eris pauses. "I just wanted to ask, are you two from the Zirak Desert?" Zirak Desert. Isn't that where Eris is from? At her question, the two wolves exchange a short glance. For a moment, I sense a flicker of caution on their faces. Then, as if coming to an unspoken agreement, they nod in unison. "Yes," the black-haired wolfman confirms. "We're from Zirak." At those words, Eris's eyes flicker with emotion. Then, "How is Zirak now?" she asks, pressing one hand to her chest while her other hand tightens around mine. There's a slight tremor in her voice, though it's subtle. The silver-haired wolfman lets out a slow sigh. It's a mess these days," he admits, his tone carrying a note of sadness. Then his gaze sharpens as he adds, "Wait, are you from Zirak too? Your accent sounds kind of familiar." "Yes, I'm from Sablethorn," Eris replies with a small smile. Sablethorn, the village of the catfolk," the silver wolf says, brightening slightly. She nods. "That's right. Although, I haven't been back for a while. My family moved to Mistvale a few years ago." "I see." The silver-haired wolfman offers a soft chuckle, then stands up. "Still, it's so nice to meet another child of the desert here. I'm Corum Bonecracker," he announces, extending his one good hand in greeting. Eris takes his hand and gives it a firm shake. "And I'm Darren Blacktail," the black-haired wolfman adds, bowing his head in a friendly gesture. "It's always good to run into someone from our homeland." As you might have guessed, we're both wolf fur and from Lunara. "Oh, Lunara?" Eris exclaims. "That means we're practically neighbors." "Haha, that's correct," Corum says, flashing a grin. Just like that, the mood shifts significantly. An undercurrent of relief and camaraderie floats between them. "How wonderful," Eris says before introducing us. "I'm Eris Wildfang, and this is my girlfriend, Felicia Fluffdale." "Oh, delighted to meet you, Ms. Wildfang and Ms. Fluffdale," Corum responds warmly. "Oh, you two are lovers," Darren chimes in, his ears perking with interest. "That's great. You look amazing together." "Hee, thank you," Eris replies, her smile widening. "But please, just call us Eris and Felicia." "Got it," Corum says with a nod. "Feel free to call us by our first names, too." Despite their imposing appearance, the two wolfmen prove to be surprisingly warm and approachable. Still, I can't help noticing a subtle tension hovering in the background. Eris must be thinking about what they said earlier regarding the guildmaster and Zirak's troubles. "All right, come on, join us for a meal," Corum exclaims, his toothy grin returning as his tail swishes back and forth. Eris hesitates briefly, glancing my way. "We literally just ate," she says, looking a bit amused. "But if you don't mind, we'd love to chat." "Sure," Darren replies, shifting over on the bench to make room. "We could use some company. It's better than worrying here by ourselves." "Okay, do you guys drink milk?" Corum asks, glancing at the mugs around the table. "Yes," Eris answers, nodding. "I'll just have a little, though." "And me too," I says quietly, still feeling a little bit shy. With that, we both settle in carefully, mindful of the scattered plates and half-empty cups. The gentle murmur of the outpost hums in the background, but our attention is fixed on Corum and Darren, eager to learn more. As we chat, a cool evening breeze passes through the outpost, rustling the torches and sending flickering shadows across the ground. All around us, the hum of conversation and activity continues, yet it feels like the four of us have stepped into our own little circle. And after a few minutes of casual banter, Eris finally steers the conversation back to the real question on her mind. "So, just what exactly happened in the Zirak Desert?" she asks, her tone turning slightly more serious. Corum shifts uncomfortably. "Oh, so you haven't heard?" he replies, letting out a weary sigh. "Hey, it's terrible there. The situation is really bad. Darren adds. Eris leans forward, her eyes narrowing in concern. Did a dungeon break happen? Darren offers a resigned shrug. Well, dungeon breaks happen all the time in Xerac. You know how unstable that land is. They're almost routine, right? Eris nods knowingly. If it were just your average dungeon break, we could handle it. Coram leans back, heaving a deep sigh, and closes his eyes. The real issue is that 3 of Xerac's top guilds has fallen. What? Eris murmurs, her eyes widening. The major guild collapsed? Which one? Shadowfang, Razortooth, Serpentail. Coram answers grimly. A flicker of sorrow crosses his features. At the mention of those names, Eris goes utterly still, like a statue carved in shock. A heavy silence follows, and I notice a slight tremor coursing through her body. Eris, are you okay? I shakes her arms, worrying. Her body is trembling. Her grip on my hand tightens. Her complexion is unnaturally pale, like someone lost inside a terrifying nightmare. Hey, what's wrong? Coram, the silver-haired wolfman, chimes in, his brow furrowing in concern. His one remaining arm twitches slightly as if he's debating whether to reach out. Eris, I ask again. It takes a few long, tense seconds before Eris finally stirs. She blinks rapidly as if breaking free from a trance. I'm fine. I was just too shocked, she forces out. Yep, Cora mutters, rubbing the back of his neck. I think we all were. Who would have thought 3 of the big 5 guilds of Xerac would fall apart just like that? Eris straightens, regaining some of her composure. Her expression hardens. How? She asks, her voice firm and demanding. How did this happen? Coram exhales, his shoulders sagging. It was Black Scorpion, he says grimly. They waged war against the other guilds. Eris stiffens. What? Black Scorpion? Darren nods. Yeah, just like that, they tore through everyone. And looking at Eris, it's clear that the name means something to her. I can tell by the way her jaw clenches, her fingers twitching slightly. There's something about this guild that unsettles her. Eris, what's Black Scorpion? I ask hesitantly, but before Eris can answer, Coram turns to me. It's another guild, young lady, he explains. One of the biggest in Xerac. A really powerful one. You've really never heard of it. I'm sorry. I don't know much about the Xerac desert. I admit. Hearing that, Eris gives me a reassuring squeeze on the hand before explaining. Felicia's a new adventurer. She's never stepped foot outside Mistvale. In fact, this is her first dungeon trip. Oh, I see. Coram nods in understanding. Well, welcome to the grind. Darren adds, the dungeon is a dangerous place, especially to a pretty girl like you. So please be careful, Felicia. Thank you. I nod, appreciating his concern. Anyways, Eris turns to me, before slowly explaining the whole picture for me. The Xerac desert is a vast place belongs to the Xeracia kingdom. And within this desert, there are 5 major guilds, Shadowfang, Razortooth, Serpentail, Eagleclaw, and Black Scorpion. Each manages their own territory consists of a few towns or cities. Sablethorn and Lunara belongs to Shadowfang. However, Eris turns to face Coram and Darren. Yes, Shadowfang has fallen. That means both towns belong to Black Scorpion now. Coram says grimly. I see. I nod. But how did that happen? How did the Black Scorpion suddenly get so strong? Eris asks. At her question, both Coram and Darren bow their heads, their gazes locked on the ground as though unable to bear the memory. Faze, we have no idea, Coram admits, letting out a ragged sigh. All we know is that about 5 months ago, Black Scorpion attacked out of nowhere. Their force was nearly unstoppable, and with our guild master gone, there was no one strong enough to stand against them. Shadowfang fell in 3 days. What? Eris exclaims, her tone incredulous, as though she can't believe what she's hearing. But even if the old man was missing, you still had other executives, right? The 12 shadow pillars. Aren't they all at least A rank? And didn't the top 3 reach S rank? How could they lose? That's true, Darren says, raking a trembling hand through his hair as frustration tightens his voice. But even so, We couldn't hold out against 100 rankers. It was impossible. What? 100 rankers? Eris echoes in stunned disbelief. And that's not even the worst part, Coram adds, his eyes clouded with an almost haunted fear. Their guild master. I've never seen anyone so terrifying. Our 3 rankers tried to gang up on her, but she killed them in under 2 minutes. Yeah, Darren agrees, swallowing hard. From what we've heard, she might actually be the 6th person in this world to reach SS rank. And with that, an ominous silence cloaks us, pressing down like a tangible weight. I can't believe this, Eris mutters under her breath. Over 100 rankers plus an SS rank guildmaster? What the hell? Suddenly, something seems to click in her mind. Wait, don't tell me. She begins, her eyes widening in realization. At the same time, her face pales as though she's seen a ghost. However, before she can finish, she clicks her tongue in frustration. Eris, do you know something? I venture, tugging on her arm. But Eris merely exhales and shakes her head. No, I'm just too surprised. That's all, she says. However, something about her tone makes me suspect otherwise. But I don't think I should press her right now. Nevertheless, she forces her composure and turns back to Coram and Darren. But tell me, when those black scorpion fighters attacked, did you notice anything unusual about the way they fought? The 2 wolves share a haunted look. No, Coram finally replies. They were just unbelievably strong. And cruel, Darren adds in a trembling murmur. It was like they enjoyed the killing. The day they showed up, it was a bloodbath. Yeah, Coram murmurs, lowering his head. They slaughtered most of our guild members. Most of the pillars were also killed when they refused to surrender themselves to those bastards. Many was tortured to death as well. In the end, thousands of guild members, only a few of us got out alive. At that moment, both men sag as though the weight of memory is crushing them. Their bodies tremble, tears pooling in their eyes as they clench their teeth against the surge of horror. At the end of the day, we're just cowards, Coram mutters and laughs brokenly. We left our friends to die. We betrayed our own guild. Despite their imposing stature, the 2 wolfmen now appear fragile, trembling as bitter regret and anger mingle in their expressions. The rawness of their grief is palpable, making my own throat tighten. Softly, Eris rests a hand on Coram's shoulder. Please, don't say that, she murmurs. Surviving is what matters. If the enemy was truly that strong, staying behind wouldn't have changed anything. No one can blame you for safeguarding yourselves and your families. Thank you. The 2 wolves mumble, though their hands still shake despite her kind words. For a while, the 4 of us remain there in suffocating quiet, allowing their sorrow to spill freely. Torchlight dances across the scene, illuminating tear-stained faces and casting flickering shadows that make everything feel all the more somber. So, what are you guys doing for a living now? Eris asks. Will you join another guild here? Or, at first, Darren and Coram exchange a look of uncertainty. Then, with a weary sigh, Coram, the silver-furred wolfman, speaks up. Hayes, Darren will. He found a guild that'll take him on. But as for me, he trails off, glancing at the stump where his left arm once was. A faint, bitter laugh escapes him. In my current condition, no guild wants me. I'm basically a crippled E-rank adventurer, and all the local guilds rejected my application. By the end of the month, if I don't find something, I might have to go in alone. My eyes widen. Wait, you're still planning to enter a dungeon despite all this? That's too dangerous. He forces a short, humorless chuckle. I know, but what else can I do? My wife and 4 kids need to eat. Isn't there another job you could do that doesn't risk your life? I press, though a pang of worry gnaws at me. Even as the words leave my mouth, I sense how futile they might be. Coram just shakes his head. Where? Who would hire me for any normal job? All I've ever known is dungeon work, and now I'm missing an arm. That's not exactly an easy pitch to an employer. A heaviness settles in my chest. The raw necessity in his voice cuts deeper than any blade. He has no choice. For his family's sake, he's ready to risk everything, arm or no arm. I want to help, but there's nothing I can do. Hey, don't worry. Darren, the black-furred wolfman, interjects gently. I'll keep an eye on him. We'll stick to gathering or exploration quests for now, things that rely less on brute force. Sure, it won't pay as much, but it'll keep us alive. That sounds like a wise approach. Eris agrees, nodding thoughtfully. By the way, are you two staying here at the Vanessa outpost with your families? For now, yes, Darren replies, leaning back against the bench. But eventually, we're thinking about moving to Mist Vale. If that doesn't work out, there's always Salam. It's smaller, cheaper, maybe a bit rough around the edges, but at least we can get our wives and kids settled somewhere safer. Right? Eris murmurs. And I agree too. I can read the concern etched in her eyes. Living at this outpost might be convenient for adventuring, but it offers little in the way of long-term security or stable resources, especially for families. The outpost is crowded with travelers, some helpful, others predatory, and with both men heading into the dungeons, who would stay behind to protect their loved ones. Besides, there's only a limited variety of shops and services here. It lacks the essential things that a town like Mistvale can provide. For example, education and medical care. My gaze slips over to Eris, and I tug lightly on her arm, silently hoping she might do something to help these two. Yet, I hesitate. After all, who am I to demand she fix every tragedy we stumble upon? But before I can say anything, Eris has already reached into her pouch. Without a word, she pulls out a handful of gold coins. Here, she says quietly. Take this. The small mound of coins gleams beneath the torchlight, reflecting dappled patterns on the rough wooden bench. Coram and Darren stiffen visibly, shock etched plainly across their faces. What? Coram stammers, his voice fraying with disbelief. This is too much. Young lady, what are you doing? Darren blurts, staring at the gold in Eris's outstretched hand. We can't accept that. Hey, it's fine, Eris insists, pressing the coins into Darren's trembling grip. This might be nothing for me, but it'll help you both start a new life. Think of it as a little push in the right direction. She stands up, gently nudging the coins toward Darren until he's forced to hold on to them. A warm breeze stirs the air, flickering the nearby torches and adding an almost gentle glow to Eris's determined expression. But, Darren mutters, his words catching in his throat. This is too generous. Yeah, Coram adds, his voice thick. We really appreciate the thought, but you don't need to do this. Eris clicks her tongue in mild exasperation. Like I said, don't worry about it. I can't stand by while people from my hometown are suffering. Please, just take it. She brightens her smile, but there's a resolve beneath it, a fierce kindness that leaves both wolfmen momentarily speechless. Darren glances at the coins, his hand trembling, while Coram's eyes glisten with unshed tears. Judging by your gear, Eris continues, I'm guessing you had to sell your better weapons and armor, right? Why, yes, Coram admits, his voice wavering. We sold them to afford a tent and some food. Now that Eris mentions it, I notice how chipped Coram's sword actually is. Meanwhile, Darren carries only a small dagger at his belt, and both wear tattered, worn clothes, threadbare shirts, and scuff boots that have clearly seen better days. All right, Eris says firmly, if you plan on heading back into a dungeon, at least buy proper weapons first, okay? And please, she urges, her voice softening, try to find a place in Mist Vale to settle down before you go. Don't force your wives and kids to stay out here unprotected. At those words, both men's composure finally cracks. Their shoulders shake, tears spilling freely as they clutch the money, almost as though it's a lifeline. Coram sniffles, wiping his eyes on the back of his hand. Thank you, he breathes. We'll do our best, I promise. But are you sure about all this? Eris offers a reassuring nod. Yes, and for the third time, you don't need to worry about me. She takes a quick glance my way, then adds, if you're still struggling to find a place to live once you reach Mistvale, go to the Gilded Horn. The owner is a friend of mine. Let him know I sent you. He might have work for you or your wife. Something safer than dungeon hunting. Thank you, Darren echoes softly, his voice quavering with emotion. Thanks to you, we can finally give our children a proper meal. Corum's eyes widen with new hope. I had no idea there were such helpful people still around. Thank you so much. A hint of a smile touches Eris's lips. And by the way, the Gilded Horn's owner was once a Zorakian, too, an ex-member of Shadowfang, believe it or not. Really? Corum and Darren exclaim in unison, trading astonished looks. What's his name? If you don't mind me asking. Gordon, Eris replies. What? The X, 12th pillar, Gordon Ramsett. Corum blurts, eyes going wide. Eris chuckles softly at their reaction. Yup, seems like you've heard of him. At this revelation, Corum and Darren exchange another glance, their expressions brightening with renewed hope. Whatever burdens they carry, hearing Gordon's name clearly infuses them with a sense of possibility. Meanwhile, tears bead at the corners of my eyes as I watch the scene unfold. My heart pounds, filled with both relief and admiration for Eris's generosity. No matter how many times I try to discreetly dab my face, my cheeks remain wet. And so, for a little while longer, the four of us continue to talk, the conversation shifting toward their families, what their wives are like, how many children they have, and the little everyday struggles they face. The night air grows cooler, and the subtle glow from the outpost torches mingles with the quiet murmurs of other adventurers. Yet, in this a little while later, an excited, high-pitched voice breaks through the conversation. Dad, a child's voice calls out, followed by many other cute voices. Dad, Dad! Everyone turns to look. To my surprise, 4 small wolf pups come bounding over, soft, fuzzy ears perked high and tails wagging furiously. A broad grin spreads across Corum's face as he opens his remaining arm wide, sweeping them up into a gentle, one-sided hug. At the sight of those happy, pup-like children, my own heart warms. Their tails swish back and forth, radiating pure excitement. Darling, who are these people? A female wolf fern asks, stepping forward in a hesitant manner. She's beautiful, despite her ragged dress and weary appearance. Long blue hair, serene blue eyes, and a dignified posture even in such dire circumstances. Meanwhile, 3 of the pups have her striking hair color, and the other child has Corum's striking silver hue. Aw, they're so cute. I blurt out, my own catgirl tale, thrashing in excitement at the adorable scene. Corum straightens and clears his throat. This is Eris, and this is Felicia, he explains, glancing at us before turning back to his wife. They helped us out a lot. The moment he introduces us, the pups swarm me with boundless curiosity. You're so pretty. Hey, big sis Felicia, why's your hair so white? Are you related to Dad? Can you meow? Are you a boy? How come you don't have a big chest like Mommy does? Erg, my heart nearly stops. I can't believe it. I have been defeated by a child. Eris snickers softly, trying to hide a smirk, while Darren snorts in laughter. Corum and his wife look mortified. I am sorry, his wife stammers, bowing apologetically. Meanwhile, one of the pups, apparently named Blobby, gets whisked away by his dad. Come on, Blobby, you can't just say stuff like that. Corum scolds, giving the child a light tap. Look, you made Felicia upset. Blobby's ears droop as he shuffles back to me, tugging at my clothes. I'm so he sniffle. Hey, it's okay. I reach down to pat his fluffy head. But maybe don't say something like that when you grow older, all right? You'll make lots of ladies cry. Blobby sniffles again, but bobs his head earnestly. Okay. A moment later, Darren's wife appears, along with 2 more children, equally sweet and eager. Soon, introductions are exchanged, and we find ourselves laughing about small, silly things. The mischief the kids get into, how they bicker over who gets to hold the toy sword. Eventually, it's time for Corum and Darren to head back for the night. They stand, each taking a final moment to bow deeply before us. Thank you so much, Eris, Darren says, bowing deeply. Thanks to you, we can start over properly. Everyone, including their wives and children, bows to Eris as well, tails wagging in gratitude. The children peek shyly from behind their parents, waving at me with bright, curious eyes. Once we get settled and earn some money, I promise we'll pay you back, Coram adds, voice trembling with emotion. Eris gives a slight sigh and a warm grin. Please, don't worry about paying me back. Then her gaze flickers with an idea, and she lifts a finger. But if you truly insist, then if I ever form a guild of my own, come join me. I'd be honored to have you in my ranks. A spark of determination fills Coram's eyes. Yes, we'd be your first recruits. Definitely. Darren agrees. We won't forget this. All right, Eris says, nodding in satisfaction. Take care, all of you. Bye. I chime in, mustering my brightest smile. The children echo a chorus of goodbyes, their tiny voices echoing across the dimly lit outpost as they trot off, hands intertwined with their parents. The wolf family's silhouettes fade gradually into the night. We linger in the clearing after the wolf families depart, watching the spot where they disappeared into the twilight. The outpost is quieted, the distant chatter of adventurers blending with the crackling fire and the soft rustle of the wind. The night air feels gentler now, laced with a warmth that has nothing to do with the fire, relief, perhaps, or the quiet glow of contentment. Eris stands beside me, close enough that our arms brush, her presence grounding me. Then, without warning, she leans in, her breath warm against my ear. Hey, she whispers impishly, her tone dripping with mischief. You like kids, huh? Want to make some tonight? Yeah. I jolt upright, heat surging to my face. Eris. My cheeks burn as I whip around to glare at her, utterly scandalized. Hi, you can't trick me. We're both girls. You can't make me pregnant. Eris grins, her blue eyes shimmering with amusement. But what if I can? She teases, lifting my chin up and gazing deeply into my eyes. What if there's a way? My heart flips. Then, why don't you get pregnant? I blurt out, desperate to redirect the conversation. Why does it have to be me? Eris gasps dramatically, pressing her fingertips to her lips as if I had just proposed something outrageous. Oh, you're right. I can get pregnant too. Then, before I can react, she leans in even closer, her voice dropping to a sultry whisper. So, if that's the case, will you impregnate me, Felicia? Yeah, Eris. My entire body seizes up. My brain short circuits. I can't understand how. Just how can she say something so shameless with a straight face? My hands shoot out instinctively, aiming a light punch at her arm to punish her indecency. But she dodges, and the next second, she runs. You can't catch me. Eris calls over her shoulder, her voice bubbling with laughter. Oh yeah. I huff, already giving chase. I'm very fast, you know. I sprint after her, my legs pumping, my tail flicking determinately behind me. However, Eris is too fast. I really do, but after a solid 5 minutes of running, I'm panting, my legs turn into jelly. She's practically toying with me, keeping just far enough ahead that I can't reach her. Fine. If speed won't work, then I'll use my wits. I let out a long, exaggerated groan. Yuck. I'm too tired. Oh. I trip on a rock. Eris, I'm falling. I throw my arms up and let myself tip forward, feigning to trip and fall. The ground rushes up to meet me. 50 centimeters. 30. Closer. 10. I shut my eyes, half expecting to faceplant into the dirt. Wait, is she really not going to catch me? Panic sparks in my chest. Eris. Eris? Oh shit. At the last second, strong arms wrap around me. Okay, you win. Eris sighs, pulling me upright with ease. Her arms tighten around me, her warmth enveloping me. Silly Felicia. I let out a breath, my body still trembling from the near disaster. Yeah, that was so close. I cling to her instinctively, my tail fluffing in panic. I thought my face was going to be flattened. Eris chuckles, rubbing my back reassuringly. You're such a little trickster, you know that? I grin. The night stretches on, calm and peaceful. With our bellies full and our hearts lighter, we finally make our way back toward our diamond tier cabin. As we walk, a thought lingers in my mind. After everything that happened today, after meeting Coram and Darren, their wives, their children, my love for Eris has only grown stronger. And somehow, if by some magic 2 girls could have children, then I know one thing for sure. Eris would be a wonderful mom. From gold-tier cabins and up, accommodations are located in a secluded, well-guarded section of the outpost. As we approach this exclusive area, a stern-faced guard steps forward, meticulously checking our contracts and IDs before offering a polite nod and escorting us to our cabin. The moment we step into this elite zone, the difference is immediately noticeable. The air is crisper, cleaner, untainted by the usual dust and sweat lingering in the common areas. The chaotic noise of the bustling outpost fades into an atmosphere of quiet refinement. The people here are different, too. Well-dressed adventurers move about with an air of prestige, clad in polished, high-quality armor, expensive weapons gleaming at their sides. Their equipment alone is worth more than most commoners make in a year. Some of them glance our way, their expressions unreadable before they return to their quiet conversations. This place is clearly a haven for the wealthy and powerful. Soon, we arrive at our destination. A guard halts before a stately, elegant building and gestures toward it with a respectful nod. "This is your diamond tier cabin," he announces smoothly. "Please enjoy your stay." "Thank you," Eris replies politely. Meanwhile, I can't stop staring. "Oh," I exclaim, eyes sparkling with excitement. The cabin is huge, bigger and grander than I had expected. Its immaculate wooden walls gleam under the glow of carefully placed lanterns. Large, elegant windows stretch across its facade, reflecting the silver moonlight. A cobbled path winds gracefully toward the entrance, flanked by rows of vibrant flowers in full bloom. It looks nothing like an adventurer's lodge. This feels like a noble's retreat. "Eris," I call, practically bouncing on my heels. "I can't wait to see inside." Eris chuckles, watching my barely contained enthusiasm with amusement. "All right, let's go," she says with a small grin. I rush forward, practically slamming the key into the lock with a satisfying clack. My heart pounds in anticipation, my tail flicking wildly behind me. Then, as the door swings open, "Yoo-woo, this is even better than I imagined." The room is huge, far bigger than I had imagined, and every inch of it screams luxury. Every piece of furniture is of the highest quality, polished and pristine. At the center, a grand queen-sized bed awaits, its plush blankets and pillows looking soft enough to sink into. A massive closet stands proudly nearby, along with a sturdy chest for storage. My gaze drifts to a tall standing mirror, its elegant frame glinting in the light, and beside it, a makeup table stocked with a wide array of beauty products. Well, I have no idea how to do makeup, but perhaps Eris can teach me? The room smells wonderful, freshly cut wood infused with a hint of something citrusy and floral. The calming scent instantly puts my mind at ease. I inhale deeply, savoring it, before turning my attention to the cooking area. And wow, it's perfect, like something straight out of a medieval dream. Polished stone countertops gleam under the soft glow of enchanted lanterns. A brick oven sits against one wall, with neatly arranged copper pots and pans hanging from iron hooks. There's a wood-fired stove, complete with a chimney to keep the smoke out, and a sturdy butcher's block for meal prep. A variety of knives, utensils, and spice jars line the shelves. A grin spreads across my face. I probably won't be cooking tonight, but now that I think about it, if we catch something good in the dungeon tomorrow, maybe we can come back and prepare a feast. Lastly, my curiosity leads me to the bathroom. I push the door open and, it's so big, way bigger and luxurious than the bath chamber at the Gilded Horns. A sleek wooden bathtub sits elegantly in the corner, inviting and well-crafted. A vast selection of soaps and shampoos, far more than I expected, is neatly arranged on the shelves. Outside the bath, fluffy robes and matching slippers have already been prepared for us. But something is off. The bathtub is dry. Where the heck is the water supposed to come from? Just as I'm about to voice my confusion, Eris walks in and reaches up toward a high shelf. I squint, noticing a stack of thick paper scrolls. At first, I assumed they were some kind of fancy toilet paper to wipe my ass, but now that I really look at them, yeah, way too thick for that. Eris takes one of the scrolls, unfurls it, and holds it over the bathtub. The paper begins to glow softly, pulsing with blue light. Then, whoosh, a massive torrent of hot water surges forth, filling the tub instantly. I get now. These scrolls are enchanted to store hot, clean water. Oh, this is nice too, Eris remarks, her eyes catching something else on the wall, a thin metal rod with a blue crystal at its tip. It takes me a split second before I realize what that is. Yawawa. Eris taps the crystal, and just like that, water begins raining down from it magically. It's a shower head. Oh, we can adjust the temperature, too, Eris says excitedly, twisting the crystal slightly. The water shifts from cold to steaming hot in an instant. Holy shit, we're in a medieval fantasy world. And yet, we have modern conveniences like this. 800 crowns. Absolutely worth it. I step forward, dipping my fingers into the steaming water, watching the ripples form as warmth seeps into my skin. A shiver of delight runs through me. This is amazing. I sigh, already eager to submerge myself into the bubbly bliss. Just then, I feel a pair of warm arms wrap around me from behind. Eris's soft body presses against mine. Her hands slide over my waist, fingers teasing at my clothes. Her breath ghosts against my ear, voice low and sultry. So, how do you like it? MH. I shudder, savoring her touch. I love it. Then, she smirks, lips brushing against my neck. Let's enjoy ourselves, shall we? And then, I exhale, my hands reaching up to undress her as well. In mere moments, our clothes are discarded. Once again, our bodies naked, pressed against each other in perfect harmony. We let the shower run. We wet ourselves, droplets cascading down curves and valleys. We soap each other, hands lingering on sensitive spots. Then, inevitably, we make love. Steam curls around us in thick, sultry waves, clinging to our skin as the hot water beats down in a relentless cascade. The bathroom transforms into our private sanctuary, a world where only we exist. Eris holds me in her arms, and I cling to her desperately, as if letting go would break the spell between us. Our slick bodies slide against each other, every touch electric, every breath shared. The rhythmic patter of the shower fills the air, drowning out everything but the ragged sound of our breathing and the quiet moans escaping my lips, each one more urgent than the last. Eris. I call her name, my voice trembling with need, my heart aching for her touch. She answers with my name, her voice a caress itself. Felicia, a soft whisper, yet heavy with desire, making my knees weaken. The intoxicating blend of soap, damp heat, and raw, aching desire envelopes us completely. Even amidst the floral scent of expensive bath products, her natural scent cuts through, primal and irresistible. Her pheromones, her hot, desiring love scent. Fuck, it's strong. It's overwhelming. It's making my head spin with want. Eris pushes me back, then presses me against the bathroom wall. Her hands slide down my waist, fingers digging possessively into my hips as she claims me with her touch. The cool tiles against my back contrast with the heat of her body against my front, creating a delicious sensory overload. As she looks at me, her eyes, dark with hunger, roam over my dripping body, sending pulses of heat straight between my legs. I can feel myself growing wetter by the second, and not from the shower. Damn, you are beautiful, she mutter, making my cheeks burn. Hee, and you are beautiful too. As I say that, I feel the anticipation coils in my stomach, a knot of tension waiting to snap. And then my breath catches sharply as she leans in, her lips ghosting over the sensitive skin of my neck before she bites down. Not enough to hurt, but just hard enough to make me whimper with pleasure. MMH, I gasp, my nails scraping against her shoulders as she soothes the bite with her tongue, her kisses slow and teasing. "MMM, you're so soft and delicious." She hums against my throat, her voice a deep vibration that makes my legs weak. And then, her hands wander lower, tracing the slickness of my thighs, parting them open like she's unveiling a precious gift. I instinctively react, my hand reaching to cover myself. But she grabs my hand and pins it back against the wall. "Let me have you," she commands softly, and I couldn't disobey if I tried. And now, her knee presses firmly between my legs, rubbing against my dripping, aching pussy, sending jolts of pleasure radiating through my body. The pressure prevents me from closing my legs, leaving me open and vulnerable to her touch. And before I realize what I'm doing, I'm already grinding myself against her thigh, desperate for friction, for the sensation of love. The water has made her skin slippery, and combined with my own wetness, the sensation is exquisite, slick, hot, perfect. I grind harder, faster, small waves of pleasure building with each movement, making my thoughts scatter like leaves in the wind. Meanwhile, Eris continues her assault on my neck, biting, sucking, marking me as hers. When she pulls back to look at me, her expression is both tender and predatory. Flushed cheeks, eyes glazed with desire, and a knowing smirk that makes my heart race. So impatient, she teases, watching me writhe against her. Can't wait even a minute, King You. Eris, I protest weakly, embarrassment coloring my voice despite the desperate need coursing through me. All right, she soothes, brushing her lips softly against mine. I'm going to take very good care of you now. As hot water streams over us, washing away soap but not desire, she begins a torturous journey down my body. Her lips leave a trail of fire, from my mouth to my jaw, down my throat, across my collarbone, between my breasts, lingering at the sensitive spot just below my ribs, dipping into my navel. And then she kneels before me, looking up with a gaze that could melt steel. My fingers tangle in her wet, midnight hair, guiding her to where I need her most. She takes her time, her breath hot against my sensitive flesh, making me squirm with anticipation. And then, the first touch of her tongue sends lightning through my body, tearing a sharp cry from my lips. I arch helplessly into her mouth, desperate for more, as her fingers grip my thighs firmly, holding me in place for her feast. Holy shit. Holy shit. The sensation is maddening. Her clever tongue circling, teasing, flicking against my sensitive bud before plunging deeper, tasting me as if I'm the most delicious thing she's ever experienced. And unlike the first time, her brushy tongue feels amazing now. I can barely breathe through the pleasure, my body trembling uncontrollably, my nails scratching at the slick tiles behind me as waves of ecstasy crash over me again and again. Lost to sensation, I grind shamelessly against her face, beyond caring about anything but the building pressure inside me. Like I have lost my goddamn mind. Her fingers join the sweet torment, sliding inside me with practiced ease, curling to find that perfect spot that makes me see stars. She works me open, stretching me deliciously, adding another finger when I beg for more. Slop, slop, slop. Slick, obscene sounds fill the shower as her tongue and fingers work in perfect harmony. The lewd symphony of our passion echoes off the tiles, accompanied by my increasingly desperate moans. And just like that, she eats me, savoring me, making me writhe beneath her touch. Soon my moans grow louder, more frantic, my hips rolling against her face with increasing urgency. She responds by speeding up, fingers thrusting deeper, faster, her tongue lashing my hot, swollen, sensitive clit devastatingly. The pressure builds to an unbearable peak, wounds so tight I can barely form coherent thoughts. Eris, I'm going to come. And then I shatter completely. My orgasm crashes through me like a tidal wave, my body convulsing violently as pleasure overwhelms every sense. My hands fist in Eris's hair, holding her against me as my back arches off the wall, and I cry out, my pussy water flooding her eager mouth. But she doesn't stop. She drinks me in greedily, licking, sucking, drawing out every last tremor from my oversensitive body until my legs can barely support me. I slump against the wall, trembling, gasping for breath. But Eris is far from finished with me. She rises gracefully to her feet, her lips glistening with evidence of my pleasure, her expression one of pure satisfaction. Before I can recover, she claims my mouth in a deep, hungry kiss, letting me taste my unholy self on her tongue. A shiver runs through me at this intimate sharing, my knees threatening to give way beneath me, but she holds me steady in her strong arms. Then, with a smirk, she pulls me down with her, lowering us onto the slick, wet tiles of the shower floor. Our legs tangle, her thigh pressing against my still sensitive thing, and I whimper, gasping at the friction. She grins, mischief flashing in her dark eyes. Too much, or do you want more? I bite my lip, my body answering before my mind can, hips rolling instinctively against her thigh. More, please more. Hee, good girl, she purrs, the praise sending fresh heat coursing through me. Her hands grip my thighs firmly as she shifts our position, spreading me open, aligning our bodies in the scissoring position until the heat of her own slick cunt presses perfectly against mine. The first contact draws simultaneous moans from both of us. And then she moves. MMHH. A deep, keening sound tears from my throat as our bodies grind together, wet and feverish. The hot water continues to cascade over us, adding another layer of sensation as we chase mutual pleasure. The friction is electrifying, the slide of her against me, the way she moves slow at first, teasing, building the tension, making me burn. The friction is electrifying, the slide of her sex against mine, the way she moves with such perfect control, starting slow and teasing, building tension deliberately, making me burn with need. Then, as desperation overtakes us both, the pace quickens dramatically. I match her movements eagerly, rolling my hips to create the perfect pressure, gasping, moaning, crying out as pleasure builds to impossible heights, spiraling ever upward. Eris is no longer composed either, her own moans filling the steamy air. Yes, Felicia, yes. Her voice breaks on my name, the sound more arousing than anything I've ever heard. She grips my thigh hard enough to bruise, then thrusts harder, faster, her breath coming in ragged pants, her control finally slipping as she approaches her peak. The pressure coils impossibly tight within us both. And then, after minutes of exquisite torture, MMHHHHH, I come apart for the second time, even more powerfully than before, and Eris follows immediately after. Ecstasy crashes through us simultaneously, ripping through our bodies like a violent storm. I convulse against her, my back arching off the floor, her name a desperate prayer on my lips. Her body shudders with equal intensity, her squirting pussy beautiful to witness. She collapses against me, her breath warm and ragged against my shoulder. For a long moment, neither of us moves or speaks, basking in the afterglow. The water continues to pour over us, washing away physical evidence, but not the heat still simmering between us. Finally, Eris breaks the silence with a soft laugh, pressing a lazy kiss against my damp skin. She murmurs, biting her lip in that way that makes my heart skip. This is fun. I manage a breathless laugh, turning my head to meet her gaze. Why, yeah. Eris grins, her fingers tenderly brushing wet strands of hair from my face before she kisses me again. This time, slow and deep, a promise of more to come. Are you tired yet? She asks, her tone suggesting she already knows the answer. My body feels wonderfully used, pleasantly sore in all the right places, but the hunger has barely been sated. Damn it, are all cat girls this insatiable? Or is it just her effect on me? After that, After resting for just 5 minutes, we make love again, and again, and again, on the floor, in the bathtub, then on the bed. We fucking fuck. Wildly, shamelessly, animalistically. The night is long, and we're only renting this cabin for 1 day, for a whopping 800 crowns. So I guess we have no choice but to enjoy this to our heart's content.